up to getting down, down. Show me a piece of your love. I'm calling you up to getting down, down. Show me a piece of your heart, a piece of your love. I'm calling you up to getting down, down, down. The way that we touch is never enough. I'm turning you up to getting down, down, down.
What? Sorry, just quickly. What if it's
da 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 down, down, da da Show me easy, show me hardy. I'll be what you want, and it's physical. Keep it subliminal. Show me what you want. Show me easy, show me hardy. I'll be what you want, and it's physical. Keep it subliminal. Show me what you want.
Beautiful people, top designer clothes, front door fashion shows. What you doing, don't you know? Inside the world, beautiful people, champagne around the nose, feet up some broken holes, surrounded but still alone. Let's leave the party, that's not who we are. We are not
Standing in line to see the show tonight, and there's a light on, heavy glow. By the way, I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for Danny the girl is singing songs to me beneath the marquee. Overload. Stick knife, car chop, con job, root cut. Skin that flick, she's such a little DJ. Get that quick by street, but not the freeway. Turn that trick to make a little leeway. Beat that nick, but not the way that we play. Dog down, bloodbath, ribcage, soft tail. Standing in line to see the show tonight, and there's a light on, heavy glow. By the way, I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for blackjack, dope dick, pawn chop, quick pick. Kiss that dyke, I know you want the whole one. Not turn straight, but I'm about to blow one. Bite that mic, I know you never stole one. Girls that like the story, so I told one. Salford, mean line, cashback, hot top. Standing in line to see the show tonight, and there's a light on, heavy glow. By the way, I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for Danny the girl is singing songs to me beneath the marquee. Oversold. By the way, I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for.
What's up, team? How we doing? Starting a little lunch commentary. We'll get into Alfred's question right out of the gate. ADXN, we'll get into that. TRHC seems to be the best mover as of now in the penny stock world, on the way up. Before I get kicked off YouTube, and they say, quit playing copyrighted music. Hopefully everyone's having a good Thursday. Wasn't a lot for me early on going on in the stock trading world. I didn't see a lot that I like to trade, so I just kind of took the day off again. Just looking to get maybe in a long-term trade on RYTM, really. I didn't get any trades, though. If you're asking what I traded, I didn't trade anything. So I can go over the trades, what we're looking at. TRHC seems to be maybe the top mover as of now, but we still have RYTM. You know, we still have that rolling. We still have SIGA. So, you know, we're in these... Essentially, and I'm surprised, which it hasn't yet, but imagine Veru maybe getting hot again, still staying up like it has. You know, we're still pretty high up here with Veru, so maybe we get the fall off, and I like it. I love to short Veru. You can see how high up we are, you know, breaking this downtrend recently. So that's just still one to keep on watch is my point. But main thing, we're just watching previous top movers over and over and over. I'd say the newest one's going to be TRHC. What's up, boss? How we doing, Zach Copper? How everyone doing today? Can't believe it's already Thursday again. It's going to be already literally, it's like I was just talking earlier. I was like, I can't believe it's already going to be Friday again. Commerciante, how we doing? Of course, Dimpy getting off a little early today and getting to join chat. Zach Copper, though, everyone else. Doc Savage getting joined in today. The Doxta. So ADXN will reverse since, okay, so Alfred, I'm guessing, do you mean reverse in what direction? Because when you say reverse, you know, do you mean to the top side or to the bottom side? I'm thinking you mean to the top side. That's the first question I have, and just the way you worded it. But I'm thinking you mean bullish, yeah, to the upside. So, because I think it does, because you know when I think reverse, I was like, well, it's still good. You're still bullish because you're above the VWAP. You're, in my opinion, you're definitely still bullish. Riding through this if I'm not mistaken, on the, and still up it on the 15. Just got below it, you know, just recently, and it just hasn't, it's just, point me in. I think this is still 100% bullish. I said this to multiple traders earlier, under 205, that's where it's going to get bearish. It's finally going to hit the VWAP at that point, and this old shelf of resistance, does it crack that? That's when it starts getting bearish. That's when I think we see no point of return, most likely on ADXN today. We need to hold this area somewhere in here. We start testing this area, and we're around 180. I would imagine by the time we do it, you know, this late in the day is my point where not a lot of volume is going to want to maybe move back into this place, so everyone maybe move over to the other plays that are moving. Not a good thing. So I'd say yes, as of right now, 100%. You want it to go down. Okay, so I'm all over the place with you, Alfred. Alfred, where are you at today? So you could just say, hey, do you think this is going to go down more? Or whatever. Because I thought you wanted to go long. And that's what I would say that overall, boss. You got two things to worry about. The two things you need to worry about, Alfred, is the downtrend, because I thought that's maybe what you're looking for. Maybe that's what you're looking at and worried about for the long side. Maybe that's what it is, but that's what I was kind of thinking you wanted to go long. But watch for this squeeze, because this is still in a kind of a squeeze mode. Even in a 5-minute time frame, we're running up, and here's our pole. Here's our flag out to the right. That's why I say when we finally get down to that VWAP and crack this shelf right here, essentially about 208, 205, we're going to see that crack back to right below 2, in my opinion. And then this flag really isn't it's kind of still a flag, but it's not as pretty as it was. It's still squeezy and pretty right now. We crack back down to this VWAP, it's not as pretty. Traders are going to start moving away from it even more so than they have over the past, say, 20, 30 minutes here. So just keep those two things in mind. Know that the squeeze is coming. You don't want that squeeze up. You want that crack back, and it's coming one way or the other soon. Queenie trying to get in that bed over there is hilarious. Every time I hear it, I'm like, what is this monstrosity of a noise behind me? It's just Queenie trying to do it a bed she does not fit in anymore. I don't know if you guys watch my stories, but this girl tries to get into a bed that not made for her anymore. It's so little. You got it though, Alfred. That's it. Makes sense though, Alfred? You see what I'm looking for you? And any of those traders that are looking for ADXN for a trade, this would be it right here. This 205, 208 shelf crack back down to the 195 to 198 mark. The VWAP area essentially, and this old shelf of resistance. When that cracks, team, which we'll put the line in right now so we all can see it together. It's right on the dot with the VWAP. That's why I didn't really I think I had to put it in there, but you can see now that I have that double whammy area in. Boom. All right, hold on a sec here, team. Let me get something situated real quick. 1 second. Get everything pulled up here. And get the fan on. Because it's already getting warm. I'm sure most of you know it's like 1,000,000 degrees down. 1,000,000 degrees pretty much anywhere. There are some places that isn't so bad here in the States, so lucky you guys. So, man, but yeah, I'm telling you. It's like already super hot. We'll just call it that. It's already super hot, team. That's what I looked at the temperature said. It said super hot. That's all you need to know. It's funny, my dad said even recently, was like, I don't even know why they even do the weather. They just say, well, I could fry an egg on the whatever. It's a hot one. And then, or whatever, just however, or whatever he said. I'm like, exactly. I'm like, there really is no need to do weather down south. You're just pretty much, hey, it's going to be really hot. Take care. Don't let your dogs outside, your animals. All right, so the top 4 stocks to watch that I am watching, at least for you guys, before we get into today's lesson. Day 4 of the my stock trading boot camp will again back. We're going mental, psychological. Chart reading, mental, psychological, and then that was yesterday again. Now back to the kind of the charts and studying AFib. Also, I noticed this one just a minute ago. This can pop as well. It's a slow and steady mover, so we'll keep AFib on watch. I've seen this pop in the past. We've looked at this in the past 100%. So keep AFib on watch. It's one of its bigger days that we've seen overall in the past. Really, at least this year for sure. So just know that this is one of the bigger moves it's made in a while. Usually when you see that and you run into resistance, this $2 area is pretty prime. This 2 to 220 area. Just know that this could be a good short to be had under 180. So I'm going to keep AFib on watch under this 180 mark. SIGA just hit new high of day. So we have the 2 stocks to keep on watch for new high of day movement. And here comes ADXN short. Here you go. Here we go, Alfred. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, your average is 183. It's okay, baby boy. Well, you get through the VWAP. If you ever get through the VWAP, you're going to be looking pretty on ADXN. So we have SIGM and RYTM are the top 2 stocks, in my opinion, to watch. As you can tell, they're hitting that high of day area. My game plan on RYTM team is just waiting, as you've seen recently, the 1-2 green days, red day, 1-2 green days, red day. I mean, this is a perfect pattern we've seen recently. I just think that we're getting so high up that the next red day we have, and it may not be the next red day that we have, but I'm waiting for the next red day that we have. I usually am attacking those, and so it'll be tomorrow since we are, I'm going live. I always do for deck on Fridays. I'll be up in the morning to get some trades in. Hopefully tomorrow's that day we get the red day, because I am just juicy. I am just, I literally, it's like I have a whole buffet, but a good, not like a buffet, but like I have my favorite barbecue restaurant came in and brought me their stuff. My favorite, so my favorite, that's like my favorite buffet. So it's actually not like, buffet food. It's from my favorite restaurants. And so I've got my favorite barbecue sandwich and some ribs and a Frito pie. Oh my gosh. And then I've got, big root beer to go with it. Then I got a big juicy cheeseburger with some homemade French fries and maybe a sweet tea or Dr. Pepper. Oh, catfish and some fried shrimp, maybe some oysters. You see what I'm saying, team? I'm just thinking of all my favorite restaurants around right now, and if I went to them, what I'd be getting. Big old queso with that cheese dip too. I forgot from my Buffalo Grill. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing right now in this. I am just salivating, going, oh, I cannot wait for the short tomorrow. So I'm ready for a short. And I'm thinking tomorrow we're finally going to get more of a, instead of just these little small red days, we're going to get our first big red day as we're really starting to get back into some real prime resistance here over it now, right? And that's why I'm like, dang, we are already over this 14 I talked about earlier. I was hoping maybe that would be the top and maybe the red day would form today, right? Didn't happen. So that's why I was just waiting to get in and waiting for that red day to show itself. Today was not that day, obviously. So this certainly has more room to run. I would say overall this, and it could, maybe it runs off, maybe it squeezes all the way to 18, but I'm eyeing this out for a short tomorrow and a nice red day based on pattern alone. And the fact that we've gone up so much, we've seen IMTE not a lot, but I'd say a few charts do this year. A few tickers do this year. Get super overextended on the daily. Within about a week and a half, we've gone up, you see what we normally do, team. Let's just go back and look at what the rhythm. The rhythm just pretty much is a rhythm. It's nice, slow, steady. Its biggest days are like right here. Like nothing big, team. You can tell there's nothing big in RYTM that you have to worry about. Right? You're okay. I'm going all the way back. This is all last year's. And the red days are the biggest days are red days. I'm still going back. Okay, finally here. So back to, and I go, wow, makes sense, 2020. But even wasn't that big. I mean, it was decent movement. Of course, we did move $10 in about 3.5 days or so. But that's it, right? There's not like you look at RYTM and go, man, this thing is a crazy, crazy mover, team. It's not. And so the fact that we moved up this much in this amount of time, usually when you see that, you're just waiting for that, like Deck was talking about earlier, this to really start showing itself in that first red day is the indicator. And do we finally ever get the second and third or fourth red day on top of it? Hopefully, and fourth day on top of it. Let's see here. Alfred, looking to short BA, but would you say would you be a safe area to begin? Let's see, short BA. Oh, well, I left that on from the last chart. I did not even realize I left that on from the last chart. That's my bad, team. I would say this trend line right here, that's funny. I didn't even mean to get rid of it. Then I should have been in the end. But this trend line right there would be area number 1 I'd look at, Alfred. So 100% look at the trend line right here. Definitely look at the trend line. And then when we get under this area right here, so I'm going to mark this support line in, and I know Dempy's noticed this as well, so trend line cracks can be great. But when you have these pretty prime shelves built in underneath, so this would be really the main one you have to worry about overall, this 159.40-ish area, you can tell right there. And hold on a sec, my wife, she left. Of course, she always does this. I'm going to go turn the TV off because I can hear it back there, and it's annoying. And she's like her mother. She likes to turn it up really loud. So let me go turn the TV off. I'll be right back, team. And we're good. All right. You're good, no low chip. It's hilarious. It's just back there and funny in the background. I'm like, oh, my wife, I love her to death, though. I always tell her, like, please, will you turn the TV off when you leave every time or whatever and do this? And then she just leaves. She'll get on her phone. Because that's her, hey, it's her, she's finally home. She's taking her day off. She's running around having her little woman's day. I'm like, hey, you do you, boo. Like, I'm not one to sit here and judge if you forget something. I'm not worried about it. She worked 8 straight days in a row in Dallas. You know what I mean? So she deserves a day to just really, well, yesterday and today. She's like, I'm just not doing nothing. Here it's happening here for you, Alfred. So here's your 2 areas happening. You get the trend line crack, shelf crack at once. Let's see if this doesn't pull back maybe down to the 158.90 area. That's the next area, little shelf you have to worry about, 158.90. Down below that would be the 158.40-ish area and the VWAP. Make sense there, boss? So what for, right here, we got close and open candles. It depends on what time frame you're in. You know, of course, in the 1 minute time frame, you probably already cracked outside of it. So if you want to get a nice high entry, you can, you know, and then of course, then always go back to your 3 minute time frame after that, in my opinion, at least at this point in the day, just to know that, hey, especially if I close and open outside in a 3 minute time frame, I'm definitely due for a pullback to this, you know, probably right at 159, if not right below 159, and possibly down to the VWAP. You're good. You're good, love Chip. Same here, though. You know, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I was kind of talking about. I'm like, hey, I want to talk, not here. She got, oh, and then even this. As much as I talk about it, she just hits me with this earlier, like jokingly, I think. Because it is in New York. So, Dimpy, it is in New York. That's the only thing I saw out of it, because I was like, okay, the only thing that perked my ears was like, well, I know it's going to be in LA or New York. So, anyway, point me in, she's got Bravo. What's the? I think it is on Bravo. Whatever that below yacht. She's got her yachting show on. That thank God she watched that yachting show. Maybe I never saw Tim Sykes and never found out about penny stocks if I never watched this stupid below deck show with her. Anyway, she wants to go to the BravoCon, and it's for all the, you know, of course. I'm like, you want to go contribute to even more of these people's money that do nothing pretty much for a living but sit around all the housewives of nothing? I mean, some of those girls make some money on their own, but a lot of them are just like, hey, I've gotten money from I was married to the Joker. The real Joker. Anyway, but I'm like, yeah, but it's in New York. It's in New York, though, Dimpy. And so I was like, oh, New York, Dimpy, I can get up there and see Deck. See any of you guys. Be a little New York get-together. We'll do a stock trading con. You know what? The freaking BravoCon. That's what I told her. I was like, I'm dropping you off. I ain't going to that BravoCon. I'll be dropping you off, and I'm going to hang out with my boys. I'm like, I ain't going to no BravoCon. I'm in New York. I'm gonna experience New York, not BravoCon. BravoCon. We're going to stock trading con. Are you kidding me? Anyway, team, sorry I had to go off on that one. So anyone that's up there, that may be happening. That's right after my birthday. It's October the 5th. She's like, okay, so like for my birthday this year, what I want to do is go to BravoCon. I was like, I'm dead. I'm dead. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, where is it at? And I was like, oh, I looked it up. I'm like, New York. Okay, you know what? Maybe I can get something out of this. Right after my birthday, it's in, are you kidding me, New York? October the 15th? I guarantee, tell me right now, anyone, it's got to be gorgeous weather up there. Hell, it's gorgeous here. It's got to be gorgeous there. Anyway, team, so sorry. So anyone that's up there, I'm going to let you guys know. And I'll keep Deck in the loop on this one as well, because I would love to maybe get the BravoCon on. I mean, not the BravoCon. No, not the, well, for my wife. For us, Stock Trading Con, okay? We're one of the Stock Trading Con team. No questions asked about that. All right, anything, if you do have any questions, let me know. We'll go quickly over the 4 plays. I think you got this, Alfred, and what I'm looking for right there, at least for you. Go back to at least the top stock of the day, ADXN, still up 130%. Haven't cracked this shelf yet. I was calling it 208 earlier. Essentially, it's 208, 205, 206, 207, whatever number you want to put in there and call it your own. That's what I would say. This is your kind of support area holding it up, and you can see the blue line, and underneath that, that's where I think we really start getting bearish, more of a backside move. TRHC would be your second stock, at least up on percentage-wise team today to look at. Put the shelf support in right here. Beautiful. You can tell old resistance equals new support. Kind of dip below it right there. You're going to have that from time to time. It's just going to happen, even on stocks like this that honestly move pretty technically sound. So nice little move so far today from TRHC. Now up around 60%. Has to hold on a while. I'm so in love with that purple there, though. But has to hold the blue line here of support right around, what do we call this, about 410. Literally VWAP. And see, this is what I'm talking about, where the VWAP is plays come in. Oh, VWAP bounce. Well, VWAP bounce, but also look where this is. It's old resistance equals new support. If I came in and did charting here and marked all my little lines of support and resistance, this would be one of those ones I would definitely be marking in. So that's why, yes, it's VWAP, but that's why I was talking about that double whammy area. Look, if you're going to get a VWAP bounce, have some old past chart history to even help you out, and you're going to get even a better bounce there. It's going to be that much more reliable or that much more credible to get a play. So you have a trend line in the VWAP. Trend line, old resistance equals new support, like a sandwich area right here in the trend line. Moving average in the VWAP in a trend line or a sandwich shelf area. You add all those areas up together, team, the more you can add up in one area. Money, 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 baby. Love Chip says he's coming. Love it. Maybe you have to get around to golfing up there. Dimpy. Love Chip, I know you'd be down with that. Doc Savage, I know you're coming. Yeah, Philly, Doc Savage, I was already there, did that. I got to go to New York for a day. I haven't been to New York itself and actually get to experience New York, besides a day at a time since 2017 that we went up there last, that we actually did it for a few days. But yeah, so you can come on over from Philly this time. You can come on over from Philly. I thought Dimpy had to fly in. No, that was, Dimpy. No, he was worried. I think it was helicopter. What it was. I was sending my AK47 over one day. All right, team. All right, but yes, I will keep y'all in mind. And we'll see if that happens. But I was like, all right, you know what? Maybe we do a little something out of this. Back to the rest of the stocks to look at. TRHC, 1410 area shelf. Back below that, I'll mark some other areas in for you guys to look at. We have another beautiful sandwich area right here. Old resistance equals new support. I mean, team, this is what I'm looking for bounce plays on the way up. Say if I've missed the run, I like to find a nice pure area of resistance to get built up. Essentially, it builds a little bull flag. Excuse me, pops the bull flag right here. Pops up and, hits that 410, 415 area. So it gets from, goes from 390 up to, so it goes 20, plus cents. Then I can trust a bounce. It's gone far enough. If we create like an upper shadow and come back down, I'm not going to, you have nothing to show that that's going to be support. You want to move up. And what I always say, hold a couple of candles. Hell, hold 10 minutes if you can right here. Push up. That's 6 minutes. Now we're at 9 minutes. Now we come down into, around the, 9+ minute range. So 10 minutes in, that's when this is it. That's money. Remember yesterday, my bounce play opportunity when I went over in the lesson yesterday and yesterday's lesson team on day 3, this was what I went over, was it not? This is where I get that very first trade I showed you. Oh, CERX, I think it was, or CETX, I forgot. Well, I think it's CET, one of the two. Starts with a C, I know. Boom, was just like this. I missed a lot of the run. I'm like, man, I'm just missing these. I hate it. But then still get a good piece of the pie here at the end. And then still know that it runs even more and go, damn, okay, I was in a good area. And then we did it again, held another old resistance area. It wasn't that high before this 405 shelf. And look at the bounce. Once we roll off of this, this is what I usually would come in and get a bounce play, right? So here's the old, and zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it, right? This old resistance area, right? Boom, boom, boom. Squeeze above it. Squeeze really high above it. What I always preach. Come back down off of this old resistance shelf and get a bounce play. We were coming down to the bodies of the candle in round 1, right? And that's why I said sometimes you're going to get that in the original dip of the shelf. And now the real shelf's starting to form what? Off of the high of it, the upper shadow area. That's where this bounce came from. So that's now where these bounces will come from. And so that's why I say if we crack this will be your first area to look for. Anywhere around this, literally from the low area at 390, possibly here at this $4 mark where we bounced earlier, 4,405. This was the next area though, and I'll mark it as light blue. It's the lowest area that this could get to in the next round. Unless you just get some severe, nasty, as we always like to call it, a good old T-bill dump. Although a lot of us in chat like myself like a little T-bill. I'm not discriminatory upon any food, my friends. SIGA, getting close to high of day area team, forming one of those little old resistance equals new support areas, or it's trying to, as you can tell right here even. Old resistance, right? Look at this little 1475 area. Move above it. Not much though. Those are the ones that are sketchy and I never go after because you're not creating a lot of room to run, although we could squeeze. You're just, you're really chancing creating a little M up top right here, failing at 1485 again. So you'll really know you only have about 10 cents of profitabilities unless you know of for sure that you're guaranteed unless you do, which you could happen, but unless you squeeze over that. So you're not guaranteed that for sure. That's your guaranteed. You almost guarantee that like a magnet. This could fail though and come right back down. So just be careful with that. 80x in, watch for the 205 shelf crack. It is getting squeeze mode. That's why I'm kind of keeping this in the middle right chart today over here in the middle right hand side. Waiting to see if this finally gets one direction or the other so I can finally either keep it on chart if it pops or if it finally cracks, I can kind of start getting rid of it. Stop looking at it so much. RYTM, let's go into this play now that we're looking at all the different plays. Like I said, to kind of keep your eye on team. 1470 area is a support line that I would mark in for the support line for RYTM. Top resistance right here, at least overall. You've got to put in at 15. Now, if you want to put a downtrend line in, you certainly can. Beautiful downtrend line that you could put in right here with RYTM. I'm not going to put anything that's going to be more of a channel in the end. So that's what I would keep it as. Now, if you want to put more lines in, you want to put a downtrend line in. If you want to see this as well, I think we probably even do. Yep, we do have this beautiful trend line going up, so I'll at least put that line in. So those would be the 3 lines, at least minimum here, that you need to keep in. Your trend line, your bottom support in the bottom part of the channel, the shelf here at 1465, top resistance at 15 or so. Do not short my SIGA. I will curse you for the rest of time. SIGA, all right, let's go over here for the short team. If you want to get this little M up top, look for a short. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Renard. Now, honestly, a good short, and just like the other day, Renard, like I was telling traders, now a good short live short, and there will be these. Oh my gosh, and I'm just now scrolling back on my daily team. Look at this on the daily right here. That we had this all the way back in mid-June, about a little over a month ago now, that I'm sure I was trying to keep my eye on. This is what I'm going to start getting in place for longer, for at least for multiple days, and then at least go look back and go, damn, I should have held that for 4 or 5 days, not just 2 or 3, whatever. Look at this daily, just like it's a chart, daily downtrend, and then look at this beautiful squeeze, and you go up. Not that it was much, it's only two. Well, I say much, $2, great, but still, you see what I'm seeing there? I love going back and seeing that, going, why didn't I trade these? I need to trade that. So SIGA, there's no point to even scroll out. That's really all the charting you need to use on SIGA for the time being. You can scroll back if you want to. There's just nothing there. So SIGA, you just really need to keep it nice and tight if you're looking at the daily or the weekly or whatever. You don't have to get too far out. Really, just the very end of May. Essentially, remember that the seminar team. I love bringing it up. This is our seminar play. But I will say the short-lived short. Back to what I was saying the other day, 1475 because this is still in such that bullish flag up top. Under 1475. So this little support shelf that is being built in right here, underneath that team, that's gonna be a decent short. And I will, put that, like saying the Thanos crossover mode, wait for that to get another 9. You get the trend line cracked already. Because if you put the trend line in, we just failed at it. That M shape, just like I talked about, team is starting to take place. Watch for this under 1475 if you didn't get the top here, and see a nice crack back to say this area right around 1460ish or so. So nothing that's going to kill Renard's trade, but could be a good momentary short opportunity. THRC, yep, oh wow, yeah, see, just missed one. TR, should say TRHC, beautiful short opportunity team up top. I want to go over this one real quickly. Put your trend lines in. This is one of those ones that finally gets exhausted where you can start getting up top. There's your trend line team, and here's your shelf. So you get kind of that double whammy area just based on charting alone where you can come in here and get short opportunities day in, day out. Have your top shelf being built in right here. Old resistance equals new support. Then we have the trend line. What happens a lot of the time when we overextend and come off, although pretty close to this overextension. This overextension just didn't hold, so that's always good to see. It's when you overextend and hold for a little bit. Talk about this non-stop team. Here's your normal bounces on the trend line. See, I can go back even further. Normal bounce, right? The normal bounce. This is kind of overextended, but see the normal bounces 1, 2, 3. That's a little bit bigger. If you went to percentage-wise, it almost went, or even percent-wise, look, just do most of them. I mean, let's just do the last one. This last bounce went from 405 to 425, 430. We'll give it 25 cents. This bounce goes from 415 all the way up to 465. So, 45 cents, right? Or 50 cents. Yeah, 50 cents. Or whatever. This house really hit actually 470. So you get my point. It's almost double. It's definitely overextending a bit. So a lot of the time when it comes back down to the trend line, again, what I always talk about yesterday with bounce play opportunities, how many bounces in, and we need to start worrying about going in for a bounce. Anything after 3, you need to start worrying. And then you're up so high with the trend line there, so you get my point. So you overextend, you're off that third bounce opportunity. This is where you can come in and get great shorts right here, team. Love it. Good short. So if anyone did short that, beautiful. Now below the view up in this 410 mark, let's go over and put this line as well red. Just go ahead and give you a little red in there too. Your first resistance line to move back up is going to be back through the VWAP and 410. And here we go. Also, just recently, ADXN. I'm sure y'all just saw that. There you go. Yeah, there you in the dippy. I was already alerting this. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, I was alerting this nonstop. I've been talking about this. I know you were probably slaving at work, but I've been talking about this all morning long. God, I forgot who asked me earlier, and then someone just said, yeah, before I've been talking about this all day for the 405. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And look where it goes down to. Right to the area I'm talking about. It's not gonna be a big mover, team. You're not gonna get a lot of movement out of this, but yeah, look at you, Dimpy. Look at you. See, you're seeing this. It's just, it's not hard, team. It's really not, especially when they build up like this. And that's why I try to tell you guys to find technically sound movers. Because when you get movers that move technically sound like this, it makes your trading a lot easier. There's a reason why successful traders in chat, you usually see them trading, for the most part, a lot of traders are always trading the same tickers for the most part. They're not running around trading, like me. I mean, I am successful, I know, but I'm usually doing the runaround, where a lot of successful traders just kind of trade the same tickers in and out most days, day in, day out. They're not trying to overcomplicate the process, is what I'm saying. I know I'm trying, I guess in a way, kind of overcomplicating it by running into the penny stocks, because it's always going to be a little bit different, but you're always going to find, that's all I'm waiting for. I'm not, well, it's this one, no, it's that one. That's why I tell you, hey, I'm going to easily process of eliminate these MFers, and then eventually get down to the 1 or 2 or 3 that I like the most, and then it's that. It's not, oh, it's like I try to tell you, or I'm telling you not to do, is the runaround game where you're doing the chase. Remember, I'm setting the chase. I'm finding the plays, and then I'm, alerting you guys is what I want to do. Yeah, it'll be a slow and steady dump, If it, Dippy, did you catch it, by the way? I know you're finally getting off. Hopefully you can trade today, although, as I told you, I know we're texting earlier, it is super duper slow. There's just not a lot of movement today. Not a lot of movement, team. Siga waiting for that. No offense, Renard. It's not going to go down forever, but I think waiting for the shelf crack is. It's either way, because you really are building this channel in. You're building this channel in right here. This 1485 mark down to about 1475. RYTM, those seem to be the two that could really pop and rock, in my opinion. TRHC, now it's down, especially now under that VWAP and this now red line of 410 support. If it gets under 390, I think it's going to be the same thing as ADXN when it gets under this 190, or 180 mark. 180 mark for ADXN. If it gets under 180, it's done for the day, and it's not. I just don't see this coming back up. So I say the same thing for TRHC if it gets under 390. Oh, Dimpy, man, I love it, man. You're just like, that's exactly, see, this is what my point being. Now, see how I'm saying you don't marry these tickers? You just kind of, as much as sad as it is, or ladies, you could do this to guys too. Not that it's a great dating structure for a long-term love success. Although that's not what you want, though. But not good maybe for men. I don't know. Anyway, obviously, I'm more of a lover than do this. But when you are younger, it's always good to kind of, I'm going to go out with you, and then, tease you. Nah, I don't like you. I'm just going to go out and dump you right on the date. It's kind of what you're doing. You're going out and teasing the person. It's like if you had a girl back in the day, Dimpy, and you just didn't like her that much, but she just, for whatever reason, loved you. And you're just like, why does this girl love me? I treat her like trash. I take her out for a date. She thinks I'm going to pay. I don't even pay. I get up in the middle of the day on a phone call every single time. Leave. Get my ride. I'm actually on a ride share. I'm talking to the person on the ride share. Half the time I'm talking to another girl. I'm out. She doesn't even catch on. I take her out. She pays for my oysters, my lobster, my crabs, my crab cakes. Man, I order the whole damn menu, and this lady doesn't even know. You're just using and abusing her. Vice versa, ladies, if you want to do that to the men, you can. But that's what I'm saying. That's what you do. You don't. That's why I hate a lot of traders that get into these. I almost said players. Don't mean that. But a lot of traders get into this, and they want to marry these tickers and stay in them for just a tad bit too long. You don't want to marry these teams. You want to date them. Kind of what Dimpy's done today. TRHC looking like this. Now, there are tickers. Now, granted. Now, there are tickers you can stay in and maybe get a little more out of her, or out of him. If you want to get a little more out of the day, let's go on a second one. Let's go on a third one, because there are stocks, say, under certain indicators, and especially if they continue to crack and don't push back above, the resistance or slash what would be breaking out, from what you want it to do. Whichever side your direction you're going, then you can hold these plays longer is the point. But that's from initial entry, and it's moving into direction. It's certainly not moving in the opposite direction. All right, so go to back RYTM here. I see RYTM, SIGA. Still watching for both of those to continue to move. It looks like RYTM is going to have a better chance to do it up this trend line here, team. So watch this. I've had this little uptrend channel in. Moving up, getting close to this $15 resistance. I just don't see anything else with that opportunity to do so. Renard's going to probably see his play maybe go against them sometime soon. This looks like it wants to crack back to this 1475 area. Ooh, Shark Week, team. Does that start Sunday, I think? I think Shark Week starts Sunday. I was going to say the Sharks are about to come out for Renard. Just a momentary Shark Fest. Oh, John! Johnny, boy, I see you. When I see you typing, I'm going to call you out. Ascension, EVFM, but man, it's so good to see you in chat, baby boy. EVFM thoughts. Let's go with 95 cents. I'd say the bottom support. 95 cents. Watch for this downtrend break. This is pretty severe, so maybe has one more run left in it, in my opinion. So those would be the two areas I'd look at overall. It has this bottom support about 95 cents. Got the downtrend line. Watch for a downtrend break back up to about 106. Holding $1 right here is crucial as well. Oh, Johnny boy, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Renard. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you guys. Atis here. Atis halted up. Okay. Woo. Okay. Could have a little lunch hour fun here. ATS. Let's see if we have any news on it. John, nice to have you here. And I totally understand that, John. I used to marry some stocks. Hey, I mean, I did it once. I don't know whatever reason it was, but I did it once on NAKD. I got burned so bad on NAKD, holding it for over a month, waiting on that merger. I don't know, whatever it was. And I guess a lot of them do. I don't think they preach as hard as they used to. So maybe every day I'm going to start saying that to you guys. But a lot of my, almost I heard, for whatever reason, something I heard every day. Or anyway, even from Sykes, which a lot of people would be like, kind of funny to think. But that's one thing I did learn, the basic. At least you do learn basics from him. But that was when it hit. That was, I think, his top role. But cutting your losses quickly. And I'm like, man, and how much they preach that. And if you did that, you would save your account and you wouldn't blow it up ever, and you could grow it faster, and all these different things that they would tell you why it was a good thing to do to, cut your losses quickly. Cut your losses quickly. So, you know what? And after I did that with that NAKD trade and held it for months on end and took $1,000+ loss on a $3,000 account, I was like, okay, I'm not doing that again. Cut your losses quickly. There's a reason why they said that. There goes some of my account. That hurts a little bit. Ouch. So Johnny, it's okay, baby boy. And John too, which I haven't forgot about you. I need to send you, and I haven't. I know I've been over the weekend. Finally, because I just was last week was super busy, and I literally had to clean up. And it was just my wife came home. So I was like, oh yeah, shit, I forgot to text John. So I need to text you back on my parts and stuff. Always had trouble with cutting losses and cutting gains. Yeah, I would say if I had to give, man, I guess I could do this lesson even, but it's like I talk about it all the time with all these other different lessons. I would say though, the three top things that newer traders face, one of the biggest things they're going to face and hurdles they're going to figure that out and they don't realize it the whole time, is figuring out what kind of trader they're going to become. That's huge. One of the other big things that a lot of traders do, and I just see face day in, day out, and I doing my sessions, talking to people, I used to do it too, is not letting your winners run, but you let your losers run. That's the one thing you let run. You don't let your run, you cut those, and that's one of those things, and I learned, go smaller share size at first and just get everything right. Just get everything right. Stick to your plan, your targets, and your stop losses. And then get rid of that P&L, because I'd stare at that P&L. Oh, I'm up $70. Oh, I'm down $80. Oh, I'm down. I'm up this much. And you just take it. Gone. Out of the trade in like 30 seconds. I can't tell you how many 1 minute or less trades I had. I had to hold the record for 1 minute trades. It seemed like anyway. I had like the most 1 minute trades ever in a year. Like, ATUS is live now, team. ATUS is live. It says Altus USA said to weigh Suddenlink sell for up to $20 billion, team. So it says the shares are trading higher following a report suggesting the company is said to weigh a Suddenlink sell for up to $20 billion. And you can see already why this is coming back down. Be very, very careful trading ATUS. We'll keep it on watch for right now, though, just to see since it's gapped up twice now with two big, nice halts. Ascension, that's probably my biggest problem. What's that? The biggest problem is not letting your runners run, and you let your losers run, essentially. The one thing you let run is your losers, not your winners. I only had that once. Unfortunately. And the thing I had was just I just was the 1 second trial. The 1 minute man, right? I think that's what it's called, right? That was back in the day. You don't want a 1 minute man or whatever. Anyway, I was a 1 minute man when it came to stock trading. I was boom, boom, in and out. Done. I was like, I'd see 20 cents. 20 cents. Shit, I wish. I would see $20. I would see green, and be like, oh, out, oh, crap. And then it'd keep going. Or it was very rarely I'd be in a trade for over, my point being, 3 to 5 minutes. It was like a record, and I get that a lot now in my sessions, and I love it. When I do the sessions in live trading, which again, next week I'll be doing that. And I've gotten this probably at least a handful, over 2 handfuls. So like 10 plus times. AK or Josh, whatever, I always get KDA called. KDA still a lot. I'm like, you can call me Josh. But anyway, I've never been in a trade this long. I was like, I cannot believe. And they're just like I talk to you, they're just like hounding like the trade, just staring at it. I'm like, you're fine. We can, we're good. And I always try to find something that's not moving like an ATUS. Like, all right, we're going to buy here for the dip. And then, it's, no. We're finding nice, relaxing, methodical plays. But it's just funny to get that. We'll be in a trade for only like 10 minutes too. And I'm like, really? But then I'm like, okay, yep, I remember, because I was the 1 minute man. I'd be in a trade. I'm not kidding you, team, how many times I'd be out in a minute. And I thought, because you know how it is, I thought I was in the trade for 3 to 5 minutes. It was the longest 37 seconds of my life. It was like I was stuck on an elevator that then got shot out of a building. And now, or you get my point? I'm like, oh my God. And somehow it landed still on the ground. It's like it felt like I was in the elevator for 30 minutes. I was only in there for like 7 seconds. But you get my point. I was like, I was in the trades for no more than probably, 20 to 45 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. Getting rid of that P&L and going smaller share size, just sticking to that trade, which that's why I'm kind of doing this in a methodical setup. When I went the mental wise, the last 2 mental lessons that I did Monday and Wednesday, now the 2 essential charting ones that I'll get into, that's more the other side of learning. Today's lesson is going to be huge as far as creating and finding and creating your stop loss and your targets. I'm going to do both A1, AB, do them together. I line them up together. It's the same exact chart for it's the same exact ones. I did them different. They're 2 different lessons, but I did it so I can line them up together for you guys, and you can see exactly what you need to be doing, or at least what I do, and make it very simple for you to create your plan and how to. And then it's all up to you to stick to it. I can't. The mental part that I've been going over, getting over the fear, that all this mental stuff that I go over. That's how it's going to help you stick to your plan. I can't say, well, here's what we're going to do, stick to your plan. You're going to come over to Rex Kwando, and you do not want to get kicked in the face or roundhouse in the face with one of these bad boys, you know, or with these bad boys, whatever he said. Anyway, that's not, you know, I can't do that. I'm not going to come pound in some mental. I can't do that for you. That's why what I'm telling you to do is going to help you. 1 to 5, 10, 100 shares. Go small share size. Get rid of your P&L. Start figuring out what you're good at and not good at. Tracking those trades week in, week out, month in, month out. You do that for 2 to 3 months, you're going to be a good trader. A much better trader than you are right now. I promise you. Yeah, Young Commerciality. I know it means something else. That's why I was going back to that song. I didn't know if there was a song. I thought there was a song by like a group or with some ladies. Obviously ladies. Back in the 90s, I thought it was. But yeah, I know what it means. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to be that, though. I mean, if you want to be an ultimate scalper, and there are times when that'll happen, I should say. But even a lot of scalpers are in trades for maybe even, sometimes 2 to 3, 4, 5 minutes, depends on the trade. Now, sometimes, yes, they're in it for 30 to 45 seconds, but not every trade, where it's like every trade you literally take is about under, like, I would guarantee you the first, because I didn't trade much those first 2 years, I would just say the first, literally, like, say 200 trades I took, I would say 90, I hate to say 90, but it probably was 90% of them, which is sad. That'd be like, 180 of the 200. I think it's 90%, right? Anyway, yeah, I think that's right. 180 of the 200 trades, whatever, like under a minute or less. That's terrible. That's terrible. All right, Love Chip. Any questions or you want to talk about stocks? I always like giving you all the middle side of stuff. AXTN and TARHC going to keep dumping off for the rest of the day? If so, I may just short and hold. Let's go back to these in my charting. Well, yeah, I would say let's go back to these real quick. We'll go back to ATIS. We'll go back to your plays. AXTN. I haven't looked at this one. I think you meant ADXN. Did you mean ADXN, Love Chip? I think you meant ADXN. Did you mean that one, Love Chip? ADXN instead of AXTN? Because I don't think AXTN's a ticker. You're trying to trick me. You tested me. You tested me, aren't you? You're seeing like, okay, let's see if AK's on it today. I'm gonna throw some random number letters in here real quickly. I'm gonna mix the middle too. It looks very similar, Yeah, you about had me. You're good, dude. But no, I was like, what? What's going on here? I would say if it gets under, and I'm telling you right now, if it's trying to crack this area, and if it sees, and I said this before, if it sees 180, I guarantee you it's done for the day. Now, if it gets below 180, it's definitely going to be done for the day, and there's not much holding it up. I mean, this 173 could bounce, but we're going to start seeing the open again. Now, I know that means we're not even red for the day. I just think that's where we dump back down and could form an E, in which we've done this before on this ticker. There's a doji, give back gain, this wacky movement of this ticker. I could see this cracking and giving back some gains. Now, I would wait. I wouldn't say just start adding in right now. This still, as you can tell, let's go on and put it in here. We still haven't really gotten too far below. We got this crack, so there's one, right? And that's why, Deck was talking about if it, earlier, that's why he was saying something about next short opportunity on this if it runs back up. I'm like, that may not happen, though. And so that's why I was alerting you guys, hey, watch for this is probably going to be the next, this could be the next short opportunity. This shelf crack underneath here. Not a move back into the down, the downtrend line, because it may not happen. Volume's really dying out now. And sure, it took a while. It took about an hour probably after I alerted that, for the 30th time. But there it finally came. And so watch for that to maybe happen again. But we don't want to get that squeeze back up to 210 is my point. We want to fail. And so that's the only thing I'd say watch out for. So yes, it looks good. We just want to move away more from this downtrend. And that really, when traders see that, they're like, geez, this is just dumping away. Now back over to this play. I think this has a much better chance, in my opinion, to really start dumping off sooner, would be this TRHC. With this trade underneath the 390 mark, boom down to 365, and then from there it's just going to start just tumbling away, because we are already below the VWAP here is my point. So under this 390 shelf, we really don't have, maybe a little bit at 375. I see this back down to 365 from this crack though, which could be happening. That's what I'm saying, sooner rather than ADXN, which looks to just kind of channel out to the right for 30 years and not do anything. Sky Chimp in chat. Sky Chimp, nice baby boy. Nice Dimpy's taking it out for a ride. He says, I'm just taking this out for a walk. Taking it out for a walk. Okay, that'd be a good target, that 175 overall. That's why, like, if it cracks down to 180, I'm thinking it's done for the day, and then it's going to get down to that shelf, which that shelf on ADX sends from that pre-market high at 175. You can see then there's that resistance that was built in. That's why I always say, I tell you guys all the time, keep your eye on pre-market highs because those are very, very significant. You can see the pre-market high right here on ADXN, right here that Dippy's talking about. Look how we ran right into that on the dot, like on the dot right there at the opening bell. Yes, we finally squeezed above it, but look how that was resistance for a good 10 plus minutes or so. More than that, really, in the end, because until we finally squeezed above it, but for a consistency of about 10 minutes, we just ran into it and could not pop above it. Finally pushing it, rejecting it back down until we finally squeezed in this beautiful flag. But still, you can tell, keep those areas on watch. I'm telling you, some of this stuff I tell you, team, I promise you take it to heart. It's just stuff I've noticed day in, day out. I know some of this stuff may sound goofy or maybe no one else has seen it, but it's like decking the 875 rule. How many people go out there and talk about the 875 rule? You guys come over to chat and you see how, literally how strong that area is. It's not like, so what the stuff I'm telling you too, it's just stuff that just like the 875 rule deck talks about, I just have seen day in, day out for years now. And stuff that used to hurt, shoot me, and I'd shoot myself in the foot. And like, how didn't I remember this? Or how didn't I know that? And so now I know and remember these things for sure, so I don't shoot myself in the foot. I try to do my best to definitely take as many shots in the foot. I shouldn't say not take as many shots in the foot as whatever is possible. You're gonna happen from time to time. Is my point. Like I said, every once in a while you're gonna get into a trade and go, "Damn, what did I do here?" I knew it. I know it off the bat is my point. That's gonna happen a lot. And throwing interceptions for quarterbacks. No one makes perfect. No one's 100% batter. There's no, or 1,000%. I guess it really would be. Now there's no perfect anything really, right? Obviously, always me going back to sports. A lot of the stuff that you do in a profession, you're gonna be wrong from time. Even you look at most traders. You're looking at. You talk about us in the NBA. We'd have for most of us what looks really good, or even back to schooling, right? What looks good for us. You're a 65 to 75% win rate. People are like, damn, that's pretty damn good. But back in, if you're talking about your free, well, free throw percentage is pretty not that terrible. And then something that we all can relate to, again, school wise, if we made 65 to 75s on our grades back in schools, maybe some parents wouldn't be so upset, but most parents and most teachers would be like, you can do better than this. Come on now. You're good with D pluses and C minus. That's what you want your whole life. D plus to C to C minus. You get my point. And so it's seen a little bit differently, I know. And so that's why that's crazy to think that's really good. And traders just don't understand that, I think, in the end. Getting to that point and understanding repetition in that all day, every day, making it a little bit harder on themselves. So if you can get to that point, team, the mental struggle I know early on is definitely there, and getting there is all a struggle in itself. But once you get to that, and that's why I try to tell you day in, day out, stick with one setup, 2 setups. Don't try to do 13, 14, 15, 16, however many. At least don't even, to be truthful, don't do like 3 or 4 or 5 even. Just try to do like 1 or 2, master those. 1 or 2, master those. And I promise you'll get much better. As I talked about this all the time, I know it's goofy. My analogy back earlier this year and late last year back to like food, but imagine you've never cooked before and you get thrown on all these one of these like really good, like as in one of the real top, one of these there's a million of them now, but one of the top chef shows, even the one with the kids that are just ridiculously good, but you've never cooked before. And you're in there trying to cook something that obviously not like peanut butter. We talking like, it's got like 10 ingredients, and that's just the first thing you're having to cook, you get my point. You have to cook multiple things, and it's all got to be ready in an hour. It's going to be a goulash, moulash roux when you get it in about an hour from now, and it's going to be a hell of a mess for the chefs to eat, to taste or whatever and judge you. But imagine, you have day one, it's steak and this dessert and this kind of potato, this all gratin kind of whatever. I don't know. It's multiple different things. And you got to cook it all in an hour. You get my point. Then the next day it's this and seafood. And the next day it's pasta. Then the next day you're doing all desserts. And then the next day, and then you're always doing different stuff. You think you're ever going to get good at cooking? No, because you're always going to do something different. But imagine if they just gave you one recipe and said, all right, you get a week to do this. You get 1 week. Every day, let's keep doing it. Do it all day if you want to. You can do it all day. We're not giving you an hour. We're going to give you, come back and we'll see how good you cook this in a week. Cook it all day, every day if you want. We'll give you all. So imagine you did it 3 times a day, 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 5 days in a row. Be much better doing something 1 time, 3 times a day, 5 days in a row than doing 3 different things 1 time a day for 5 days in a row. Do you see what I'm saying? Your brain's having to do 3 different things once a day, 5 days in a row. Who knows? Could be more than that for a lot of traders I know, and it was for me earlier on sometimes, Where then I just realized once I was good at it, and especially started tracking stuff, I started just doing one thing, maybe two, but usually just one thing, 3, 4, 5 times, because I was paper trading at first. I was practicing it every day. So I was doing it 3, 4, 5 times a day, 5 times a week. One thing. I was pretty good at making that steak and those whatever cauliflower. That's the kind of like the new thing they do. The cauliflower mash now, the cauliflower mashed potatoes. Pretty good stuff. I've made them. Do you get my point though? You'd be much better the next Monday. That was, you know, when you come back through, like, okay, let's redo next Monday. Let's do the taping again. You have that hour to do everything again now, and you've been cooking that same thing every day, Monday through, and like, my point, just say you didn't get Saturday and Sunday. It was off, but you got Monday through Friday to cook that one meal all day, every day. It come back that next Monday. It won't be great, but it'd probably be pretty darn good. Then imagine a month from that. That month from that very first day where you had an hour, you never cooked before, first time in there, never cooked before in your life, and you had to cook this top shelf recipe when it was goulash, moulash roux, right? Now imagine you did it all day, every day for a month in. Imagine how good that recipe. You probably be just as good as those little kids on there now. Granted, no, it's new, you know, probably the kids. You know, get my point though. Maybe the adults, but you did it for a month straight, one thing all day, every day, versus this. It's gonna take a long time to get good at this. You did this 5 times a day, 7 times a day, 3 times a day at least, or whatever it may average out at first when you're really practicing a setup team. I'm telling you, that's how you get good at something. Sorry to kind of go on that, but that's why I'm telling you, that's how you get good at stuff. To kind of break that down analogy wise, you need to practice this stuff day in, day out. Not try to do this and then 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 your brain's everywhere all day long. The next day you're doing this and then this and then this and then this. It's going to take a while to get good at all those things versus if you just did 1 or 2 things every day, you'll get better at those 1 or 2 things. Let's go. Thoughts on PGY? We dump off here, but it's nice to see you back there really quickly. Skychub. Nice to see you in chat, boss. Real quickly, though, Kilroy, thoughts on PGY? PGY, I think we're going to see this the rest of the day. Phil, saw this earlier, and I brought this up in chat. I said, watch for this over. That's why I said over 4 and I could take off, but that's the main thing I was watching this for the failed. I think we may get one more, though. So maybe if you're looking for a short Kilroy, man, every time I think of Elroy, then you're going back up to 5.8. Maybe putting some orders in because you see last time, first time 487, next time like 4.8, maybe this time it only gets like 470 or 573. You know, this time it doesn't get as high, it gets into like this area right here. So anywhere in the mid to 570s up to 5.8, that's where I would look to put your orders in for a short opportunity back down if we do get that spike up. Other than that, watch for this shelf under 510, 515 area for a more shorting opportunity. ADXN moving up a little bit here, team. ADXN moving up a little bit here. Squeezing off that area. That's what I was talking about, saying this love chip. Let's see, 2,000 shares is $2 on Trade Zero Locate. Is this a gift from God? That or a curse from someone else that's saying, ooh, I'm going to squeeze you. Please get these for $2, even though it's only $2. He's doing it to like a lot of different people. So he's getting like 5,000 people. So he's like, okay, if I can get 5,000 people to give me $2, I mean that's, you know, he thinks in very bad ways. Kilroy, yep, looking for a short. Awesome, yeah, that's what I would be looking for. Those 2 areas. If it pops back up into that 5.8ish area, 570 to 5.8, and then below that shelf at around 510, 515. Hey Kate, I still need to talk to you about Thinkorswim. Could you please call me this weekend? Man, yeah, just give me a shout whenever. I mean, let's see, call you this weekend. Yeah, Sunday. I think I'm good Sunday or Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday. So yeah, if you need to talk real quick, what do you need help with again? What is it you need help with? And you can get my setup too, right? What do you need help with? Because that's what I was like, what do you need help with? I could help you right now a little bit. And I'm going to do this too, that anyone wants this. If anyone wants this, this is my setup. So all you've got to do is click on this, and then you'll have my setup. Here is my TOS setup. So you click on that, and you can actually put it into your system if you want to. And then actually you just click on it. And then it'll have you, if you want to click on the link there, view and Thinkorswim, and then that way, if you want to save that as your new setup, you can. It gives you my account number, you know, and everything. So if you want to use my balance, you can start trading on my account if you want to. I mean, you can do any of that kind of stuff on, you know, it's whatever you want to do. So that's for any trader. If you want to start trading on my account, there you go. Let's see, let's see. Should I short ATIS here or wait? Let's go back to ATUS. Oh, forgot about ATIS. Thank you for bringing that back up. I forgot all about ATUS popped up and it actually held its games because I didn't put it on my. I'm gonna get rid of TRHC team. TRHC, I'm sure I'll see it if it starts popping back up on my bottom left hand, the penny stock gainers board. If it gets back over 4 and 415 is where I'll look at. So if this gets back over 4 and then 415, really the VWAP area, TRHC, I'll put that back on watch. ATIS though, I'm gonna put this 100% on watch now. Now they're just starting to show you where sometimes where this, where this terrible weak PRs come out. What was the one LQDA? Remember, and thank you for Renard for again reminding us yesterday that it did have a PR a couple days ago. It was a pretty weak PR, but PR nonetheless. It was a patent PR, and it pretty much won it from someone else saying, "Hey, I got the PR, you didn't." Ha ha ha. Well, again, it's patent news. Who cares? Again, it could have just been something like, "Hey, I'm gonna go make those sugar cookies now and add 2 more table salt, 2 more table whatever spoons of sugar." So anywho, held up. More than it's supposed to is my point. This did pretty darn good in the end. Now, it's not done much since, but it did a lot better than I thought it would, and a lot of traders as well. Same with ATUS. Now, if we've seen this pretty much any other time of the year, team, these stocks I would be going short, 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 short. Like, as in it would hold up a little bit here, maybe even sometimes give an extra spike, but as soon as it cracked this area, it just would boof, and which would happen probably within 10, 15 minutes of it going live. It wouldn't last that long usually. And now these are actually holding up pretty decent. So I will say that, so be careful on the short side. Now I've noticed that. So short ATUS here, or wait. I would say wait, Love Chip, honestly. Now, if you want to go into past chart history resistance, you saw where it kind of ran up into, and that would be the only thing I would say. Would be anywhere around the $13 area, 13.30, whatever. Yeah, where's it? 13.30 is the 200-day moving average. You see this right here? You see this, the old resistance right there? So if you caught any of that, but it didn't get that high. So that's why I'm like, I would say if you want to get a safe short, but still room to move down, that under this old halt up price, and that's where, remember my halt strategy, D Sarley, or was it Trader One? Maybe both of you guys were both asking about this big time, because I know it's something I just brought up again recently, because I'm not going to bring it up because nothing's halting. Look again, here we go. I think, it was LQDA the other day. Here we go with ATUS doing the same exact thing here, halted up. Didn't generically get a big, nice move up, but we still held the halt up price for the most part. And so Love Chip, under the VWAP, under this 1150 mark, that's where I would look for a safe short. What's up, Mello? How we doing? ATUS now halted down, so there we go. Exactly, now we're halted down. I'm not just blabbing on about it. Let's see, luckily I sold half my shield, learned from AK. There you go, Ascension. Exact. Thank you. Lock up half. I'm telling you. I don't know how many traders start doing that too, at least locking up some. And I've loved to see the traders when they do that. Again, which I know AV's having a good day out in Indianapolis. AV hopefully having one of his best golfing rounds ever today. But, same thing with him. You can tell a lot of the time when he gets into that area, especially after he's bulked up in his share size and is averaged up, like on his shorts, he definitely will start scaling out. Take that profit, limit the risk. Take profit, limit the risk. What's up, Melly? Yeah, hopefully I'm kind of looking nice and tan. Got the hair nice and short. Not fixed today or anything. I'll look pretty for you guys tomorrow since I'm kind of going live all day. I'll get the hair all pretty and stuff, I got shaved, trying to look as good as I can for you guys. What's up, Love Chip, though? Yes, okay, gotcha. Debbie, how we doing? Debbie, I kind of come in yesterday, I don't know if you missed, though. I kind of at the end, because what I'll do is I'll have this up, have my lobby up, giving you guys the roll call, and then I'll come over to YouTube to figure out what I want to play and put on. And so I missed the last, I always miss, the last 5 or 10 people that come in at the end. They're like, hey, saying thanks or whatever and doing the banger ring or whatever, usually saying thanks or whatever, AK, or, while I'm still trying to doing the roll call. And I'm like, oh no, crap. So I came back in there kind of at the end to give you guys a little bit of love. We will get into a lesson here in about 5 minutes, team. So we'll give this a little bit more time. See if anyone, how many lessons do you have ready for your boot camp? Oh, I have tons of them ready. A lot of these mail are pretty much lessons like deck. They're lessons that I've already gone over in the past. What I'm doing now is staggering them to me, in my opinion, what would work best for most traders. ADX cents popping up. What else? I'm going to get something off of this chart. We'll go with ATIS to see what ATIS does out of this halt down. So I'm trying to stagger them to where they make sense for you traders. So first day, how to start growing, manage a small account. Tuesday, going into my first main lesson and how to kind of use that and say, okay, mentally, what I want to look for in my bounce dip plays, which I think to me are the easiest and should be to probably one of the first go-to setup strategies that a lot of traders go toward is that, because it's so simple to find bounce plays. I think a lot of traders have struggled with that at first because I think they don't. The main thing which you have to worry about is finding support and resistance, and so that's what I do in my lesson is finding support and resistance, right? And so I did that in that lesson as well. What you're looking for, defining support and resistance, which I'm going to get into that lesson. But today, what I want, and then so yesterday was more mental fear, the fear lesson, how to get over the fear and what to do and manage and get over that. And then secondly, now with the second kind of charting lesson today, something that I want a lot of traders to look at and focus on is how to create and stick to, essentially. Now, sticking is one thing, but how to create your stop losses and your targets. So today, how to creating and sticking to your stop loss and target. Now, again, sticking to it all really comes back up to you. Really, that mental side at first, which I've gone over the Monday and Wednesday of what to be doing, but looking at when I show you what I'm looking at for my plays earlier on and what you could be doing as well, what you could and should be doing to help manage, I should say, your stop loss, your targets, your risk reward ratio, all those main things we want to worry about early on. Just simplicity at first, not worry about all these other extra terms. And I'm going to start using the MACD, and I'm going to start using this moving average, and I'm going to start doing this. And I'm like, let's just keep it simple at first, and let's just start being consistent at a setup or strategy, and then let's start worrying about maybe some of these other indicators that we can then worry about. If you just worry about charting and candlesticks alone, and then finding where support and resistance are, your downtrend line and trend lines are, if you can get that in alone, I'm telling you, you will start becoming such a better trader and really defining who and what trader you might become after that. Do these basic things at first, and that's what I'm trying to do. Basic at first, work your way into some of the more deeper lessons. Grigor, we are ready. Awesome, Grigor. So I have a lot though. So I can't tell you how many. I'd say like 20. I mean, 3 weeks worth. So I have like 20 because today's like 2 really, but it's gonna be 2 and 1. Creating and sticking to your price target, creating and sticking to your stop loss. We'll do those 1A, 1B together. We're gonna do it together because I set this up to do them together. It's the same exact chart. So I'm gonna show, hey, if you're looking at this chart, here's your stop loss. If you're looking at this chart, here's your target. Like of course your entry as well, based upon a hypothetical entry. ATIS here. We'll kind of go through these plays one last time in just a minute. Any last questions, comments, or concerns? That makes sense though. Mello, sound good? 20 plus lessons or so. We'll be going for the next 3 weeks. So until August the 5th, Friday, August the 5th, we leave for Florida. That is when I leave. I'll do morning commentary. So 2, which is crazy to think. So 2 weeks, let's say 3 weeks. We're already through almost a week of this. So 2 weeks from today, I leave from Florida. So it'll be another 2 full weeks. So tomorrow, I got a lesson today. I got this double whammy lesson today. I'll have another lesson tomorrow. I'll have 5 lessons next week at least, if not 5 more the week after. So some days I'll have multiple in a day. So you have at least 10, you have at least 11 more coming up minimum. 5, and of course tomorrow being 11. Well, today you've got of course you hadn't included today's yet. You got 13 plus. So you got at least 13 coming. And I will put this out there, baby boy. If you have missed any of my previous live streams or whatever, just go to that bottom link, my YouTube page right there. There's all my YouTube and Instagram as well. Of course, I'm still trying to get back my one because the Instagram is so ridiculous. Go over to my YouTube, click on the videos tab, live stream. So here's yesterday's live stream. There's Tuesday's live stream. There's Monday's live stream. There's Friday's live stream. So if you need to go back and want to watch any of these live streams, team, bada boom, bada beam, here you go. Here's your you can go back and then watch. Of course, I've done all those lessons too already. I have really expanded on them on these a little bit more so and talked more than I did. Like say the ones I recorded on in the past. So if you look them up, so like right here, you want to look up how to start, grow. And so right here, this comes up and it's only 32 minutes. On Monday, I swear it's substitute teacher after my mom's home. On Monday, I probably talked, it was like 50 minutes I went over this. So like this, 55, it was 50 because like, whoa, I talked for like, I looked at the clock when I was done. It was afternoon or my lunch commentary was almost over with, I should say. We're about to be an afternoon commentary. I went on for 50 minutes. This one, getting over the fear yesterday, which I'm glad that pulled up too. I did this one yesterday. I probably went on for 25, 30 minutes yesterday. The recorded lesson's only 11 to 12. I went on, Team, these are the 3 lessons I've done this week. Team, these are the 3 lessons I've done this week. Mondays, yesterdays, Tuesdays. Mind blown right now. I put in how to start grow. I'm telling you something. What in the what? What? So if you have missed them, just go type in how to start grow on my video. This is what I did Monday. Although again, the live stream, the ones I did in the live stream are much longer and more elongated. This is the one I did on Tuesday, buying the dip bounce plays. I probably went on for a little longer than 20 minutes, probably about 25, 30 minutes. This one I did yesterday probably went on for about 25, 30 minutes. This one I went about 50 minutes on Monday. That was blowing my mind right there. What's up, Sean World? How we do, baby boy? You got it, Mello. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're good. Yeah. 8 to short. You're looking pretty good here. Love Chip. Yeah. I think everyone's giving you the thumbs up. Like, yeah, if we're about to be in crack mode. I'm telling you, right below that 11:45 mark. I'm going 11:45. So 11:45, 11:50 right there. That's that area. So we're already below 11:50. If this gets below 11:45, close and open candles. Close and open candles below 11:45. You're golden, pony boy. All right. Let's get into today's lesson. Bad to the bone. Bad. Bad. I'm good. About to be, yeah. Good. That's awesome, Sean. About to be done for the day. TBLT, guys. What's up with TBLT? Bad. Now that song's in my head. Thanks there, Shanzi. What about it? This dude, TBLT, guys? What do we mean TBLT, guys? What's going on with TBLT? I don't see anything new on TBLT. This dude. You had me worried there that TBLT was going bananas or something. All right, so we're going to go with ADX in because it just kind of pop up. We'll see if HS even holds anything. Although I'm going to get my lesson up. Let's get into this double whammy lesson. Everyone ready? You guys. All right, ready? All right, let's get this on. Today's lesson, team. It's a double whammy. We're going with the double whammy lesson today overall. Creating and sticking to your stop loss. Creating and sticking to your price targets. Now, these are A1, AB, I love these. These are pretty simple to do. Earlier on, I say simple to do, but this is what I wish a lot of traders would start doing a little bit more so. They overcomplicate the process of where their targets are going to be, especially where their stop losses are at. Sometimes their stop loss, you want to go with, and that's fine. If you want to be with a generic stop loss of 10 cents, 10%, or whatever that is, you have some ratio that you have set up, that's fine. If that's working for you. Now, this is for traders that you need help with price targets. You need help with stop losses. You are early on. Whatever it may be, and this is something that you need help with, whether it's just a little bit or a lot of. Let's get into it. Oh, no, we keep laughing here. All right, let's get into the first one. And you're going to see they're both the same exact chart for each one of them. Entry here, the VWAP, the 1.5. Say a lot of traders, I know you love the VWAP bounce, kind of like me. It moved up over the area that you look for a bounce play, so you want to come back down. When it came back down, you want to go for a VWAP bounce. You see these this kind of bodies of candles, maybe a little shelf that was built in right there too. You go for the 1.5 bounce. So we'll just call this generically right here. We'll just call it 1.5. That's where the entry was for the VWAP. So right off the bat, beforehand, and we're doing this all beforehand. Like we're going, okay, man, if this can pop back up above the VWAP. It pushes up to maybe this upper VWAP band into this old resistance area, and it comes back down and go for the VWAP bounce 1.5 entry. Check mark. Check mark number 2. Where is my stop? Before your targets, team, we are not looking. It's targets come second. Your stop loss, I'm telling you 100% of the time, if you do like I do, your stop loss comes first. Right here. This is your stop loss. If you get back under that 130 area, you're done. I'm telling you right now. Now, you want to find your target secondarily, is why I always say this. This is just your end-all, be-all is my point. Because everyone wants to go, they want to start looking up top. Now, you don't know this is going to happen, but you want to start going, okay, I want this to this, or you want this. A lot of traders, they forget about this, and this is why I think in the end, that's why I want you to start with the stop loss. I think a lot of people put the stop loss on the back burner, and they're so worried about their targets, and they don't get their targetry, so they start taking profits, and that's why they're always taking profits right away. And then it starts hitting their stop loss, and they never knew what their stop loss is because they didn't go to their stop loss at first, and they're always worried about their target, not their stop loss. So by the time their stop loss is actually getting hit, they don't know where the hell the stop loss is even at because they never went over their stop loss. You see what I'm saying? I went over that really fast, but you get my point. Hopefully, is that go over this first because you may end up forgetting about going over a stop loss in the end, and you're only worried about your target. And so by the time this may not ever hit your target, and you're letting it come back down, and you're letting your runners run, unfortunately, it's because you never really went over your stop loss and hounded it out from the get-go and said, here's what I'm sticking to. And you just forget about it, and it just keeps going down. It'll come back up. Oh, okay, well, it'll come in, and you just always have these different stupid theories you put in your mind of it coming back up, and, well, I'll do this, and I'll do this. It takes over. If it comes back here, I'll take it there, and just put it in. It's as simple as you trying to be a robot and going, entry here, stop loss there, targets here. hitting stop loss out, hitting target 1, profit taking area, half out, profit taking an area 2, 3/4 out, stop loss now moved up. It's just try to be as robotic as possible. So let's get into it. 1.5 entry for the VWAP bounce. You come down here at first, always come down and try to find your low area of your stop. Maybe you want it at 1.4 even. Maybe you say, you know what, I don't want to get below these lower shadows in this little shelf and even worry about 135. But try to determine where you want your stop loss to be before you're starting to worry about where you go all up here and stuff. You see what I'm saying team? And so, for most of these areas, and I of course for me, just going back, that's why this is just simple stuff. If you ever look at this stuff, for say, well, I didn't mean to go forward here. I meant to go to your target area. And so your target area always is going to be, and that's why I say price target number 1, 100%, is going to be right here. Now, I know I put 1.8, but it's about 170 to 175. Whatever these upper shadows are right here, that's really going to be your first profit taking area. I should have put 170-ish, 175 here. That's really what this is, where the first arrow is at, right? That's where profit taking area is at right here. That's number 1. That's where you're guaranteed to. Remember earlier with SIGA, and we did this on SIGA. Let's go back to this real quickly since I'm not recording. Even though I just want to show them that too. And Renard, was I not right? Renard, did I not bring this up in chat right? Perfectly on the dot. Watch for an M shape, a double top. Why I would not go long there, essentially too, because there wasn't much profitability zone. But that's why. It's because there wasn't much profitability zone there, and I knew I was only guaranteed back to 1480 this high right here. I wasn't guaranteed what we haven't seen today. I'm just not guaranteed that yet. I can't say that. Even with you guys, I'm like, yeah, it could squeeze, but I don't know what's gonna squeeze. I know if I've got room to, if it's run up there before, I can run there again. I've seen it happen a lot of the time. More often than we don't have room to run and we fail. I've seen this more often, right? And so that's why I said watch for a fail and a pullback and where to. And it's generically holding that area, generally essentially around 1460, I should say. So that same example of what I'm talking about right here with this trade. We know right off the bat, this is all I'm guaranteed from a 1.5 bounce. I know I could come right back up here at most and get a nice top of around 170, 175 and take some profit. Now, number 2, you're going to have to go to past chart history and say, where is this one run recently? Where can I move to next? And then you could tell, and I forgot to put, and that's the one thing I forgot to do with this, and just put like a little small picture right here of the yearly, because I took a picture of the yearly to put like right here. And there was a little line, you could tell a little bit at 1.8, not much, but there was a little at 1.8. Most of the rest of the area was close to 2. Most of the next resistance, so this would have been a great long opportunity, especially at least a squeeze over, because you had a good 30 plus cents to run, because 1.8 really wasn't strong. 2 was the main area. It ended up being right over 2 really in the end. That's why I say sometimes you'll go back to past chart history. It looks right about like a 2, 202, 203. You can't tell, and then it'll pop just above it. That's why sometimes see them. I'll always say yes, and you see when I freak out. Oh my God, they hit it right to the penny, because very rarely it hits right to the penny. It'll be 3 cents above, 3 cents below, 4 cents above, 4 cents above or below. And so that's why you'll get that. I saw 2, but it really ran, a little bit higher than that. And that's fine, essentially. You're going to get this, is what I'm saying. And so that's what you're looking for. And let's go through the rest of these. It makes it real simple as we move on, right? So the same thing here. Entry area number 1. You want to play, and I didn't play this, but the bottom of this shelf. Say if we put a line in right here, you can tell where the bottom of this shelf is to take bounce plays on a bottom support area, where I say in chat, hey team, this has 185 support, top resistance 210, has a downtrend line in right here. If we crack the 185 shelf, watch for a pullback to this 170, 175 area, right? What are we generally saying? And so there's a beautiful bounce opportunity. So we'll say hypothetical traders, which I didn't trade this because I missed my opportunity. And I remember I talked about this trade. Oh, it's CREX, C-R-E-X. I remember this like it was yesterday, because I didn't really see this popping until it started doing this number. And I wanted to get in on this from the get-go, and I didn't. Then I saw, okay, this is the bottom area, and I wanted to get in here, and I didn't. I just like, well, the downtrend, I think it's going to crack, and it's getting low. I just don't think it's going to pop. Well, it popped, and I'll show you where I got in, and I've went over it before. But just say we took the hypothetical bounce of where I wanted to originally get in. Anywhere around this 185-ish mark is what we'll call it, 185, 19. Your top area, or I should say, let's go, that's right, stop loss. See, I almost went there first. The target. Stop loss first. See, I had to revert my mind to start doing that. The bottom area I want to let this run down to is this old 165, and I went 165, although to me it's a little low, 170 to 175 area. This is at least 170, because you can tell this is 160, so go up, this is 180, so halfway through. This is probably about 167, 168. This is more to 170, 175 over here. That's the stop loss. You get back below that, what do you think is going to happen? Dump all the way back down to 1.5, possibly dump all the way back down to 1.4 to 1.35, right? You don't want that. This is your stop loss. This has to be your end all be all. Again, if you want to stick to ratios, this, that, or the other, that's great. You get back below this 165 mark, and if your stop loss is below that, I'm going to tell you it's going to keep dumping. It's going to dump to 150, and it's going to dump to 135. I can tell you where it's going to dump to most likely. That's why I just stick to charting over going, well, my entry's at, find an entry, and they go, well, I'm going to do the calculations here, and the 2-to-1 ratio is going to be, no. The chart's going to tell you your 2-to-1 ratio most times, I promise you. Usually, generally, you're going to say, hey, if I can find a 2-to-1 ratio overall where my bottom stop loss and my top target, you're going to be a very good trader. That's what you're going to get. So your bottom area, we'll just call this 170. We'll call it 170. Your entry is 190. So 20 cents at most around that area for your stop loss. At most 20 cents. So where's your target going to be? Well, let's go down to the next one. Your entry is at 1.8. We'll call again. We went on the dot with 1.9. Well, where's your first target? Your first target's this high of day 210 to 215 area. That is target number one. Now, that's not your end-all be-all target. That's the target you're going to include in your ratio, but that's your first target where you do want to lock some shares up. And then maybe even generally move your stop loss up, which is going to be another lesson that I get into. But moving this stop loss up here, team, is going to be another big thing we do. So your stop loss, instead of being at 165, we'll call it 170, is now going to come up to about this 180-ish mark, maybe even your entry as you take profit as we get back up to said 210 to 215 area. So your stop loss is down here to start with, 170. You never hit it. You're not even close to it, honestly. You never even get below 180. Squeeze up into this area, and then you get new high of day. Anywhere in these candles, I don't mind if you took some in this candle, but these two candles, you need to be out half shares. You need to start scaling out. This is your first target. You are taking some shares at 215. Do it, team. Do yourself a favor. Lock up shares. So you're minimizing risk because you're not nearly in as much anymore. You're putting money in your back pocket. And then thirdly, you're going to move that stop loss up to close to your entry. So then you can't lose on this trade anymore. There's just no way. And so that way your stop loss was originally, again, this 170 area is now moved up to, I'd say the 180, the VWAP even now that squeezed up. The VWAP's right here at the 180 mark. Minimum 180 is where that stop loss needs to be. Minimum, team. Right? And then you go to past chart history and go, cool, where else am I going to scale out at? If it gets over 215, I need to go to past chart history and go, where is it at? Where's my next area that I need to scale out at after I get over 215? So you're not only taking profit at 215, moving your stop loss up, you're out half. You can then hold your remaining share size, for your stop loss, which is now your entry, which is great. Great bounce opportunity area again, because you've now, moved all the way up here to the 220 range. But then secondly, now scale out as you move up a little bit more. Is this making sense, guys? Does this kind of see what I'm looking at here? Same ticker again, where I finally got in on this trade. Push over the high of day area here at 210, 215. Pushed around this 230, 235 mark. And where to finally I get in on this candle right here. I almost got in here. I just didn't like it at first because to me it wasn't pushing as much. I thought it could fail. I wanted to push a little higher and break 220. It finally did. Held for a couple of minutes like it did here. I trusted the bounce play back down now. Where did I take profit? Let me tell you about the birds and the bees. My profit taking smart, so I say smart, but I should not even say smart. That is, I'm an idiot. Because I am an idiot here. But what would not be smart? What would be the word? What did we do early? Worried self, non-disciplined. I took profit right here. It came up thinking it could only, because I thought this was again, as I said, take profit into the high, little scaredy cat, essentially, whatever you call myself. I thought this, okay, nope, it's not going to get there. It's forming it was kind of doing this. I took profit in this candle right here, thinking that this was it. I'm not going to get back to my high here. That I literally would have gotten here, would have gotten all these bounce plays I kept showing you where I take profit. Profit taking number one is what was the old high, so somewhere close to 230, 235. And so I'm like, man, this bounce play, I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to work out. And so I held in, had my stop loss right around my entry. I moved it up now after I took some profit here. Finally, I get the squeeze. And this is where I took the rest of my profit right here. Finally, new high of day, took my profit, done with it. But you can see, if I went back to past chart history, I meant to put these in and I totally forgot. You go back to past chart history, I should have known if I would have held long enough and it didn't get to my stop loss. It's there for a reason, right? I create my stop loss for a reason, which again, my stop loss was where? The 210 entry. Where do we know? It's going right back over this area. It's very simple. I'm just going right back. I'm going down and to the left, down and to the left. Where down or to the left is going to be my next support area to hold up for me that feels comfortable enough for a stop. Now, sometimes you're not getting this. Sometimes it's, and I want to get over these trades where I'll say, which I'll get into these here in a minute, going, hey, there's nothing there below you. There's no charting that says, okay, well, where am I supposed to get a stop loss? There's nothing chart-wise that tells me here, AK. I'll get into that. But if there is a nice technically sound mover like this, the chart on these technically sound movers, at least 75 to 85, 90%, somewhere in there, I don't know what it is, but it's a high percentage, gives you your stop loss. Like, that's why people always ask me, what's a good target here? What's a good whatever? The chart, and it's always different too. It's Treetop Josh, I think he said that yesterday. Every chart, not just the chart itself or ticker or whatever you want to call it, but every day that ticker, like every day Tesla has a new stop loss, and obviously because of price, but that's the main thing. It's going to have a new stop loss and a new target and a new entry every single day, every time. The chart's going to tell you 90% of the time, 80%, whatever it is, high percent of the time, where your stop loss should be, where your targets are at. Let's get into some more of these trades. Let's get to this one right here. Little small trade. Let's go to the target area, or I should say not the target, but the entry, which it's on both 115. This trade I took actually as well, alerted in chat. I wanted this bounce play, alerted. I saw this 115 bounce play, I think I called 117 in chat. You saw this low area. I didn't want 120. I wanted this to get, because I wanted this little low area. It's like, oh, if this low area could hit. So I called the 117 bounce play. Did hit 115. Woo, boo-hoo, whatever. 2 cents below me. Didn't worry about that. So 115 is my entry, or 117 technically was my entry. So where's my stop loss at? Max stop loss, max. That's why I always put max in here. No lower than $1, because at that point in time, unless this really starts crashing, your lower VWAP band is at 110. So even 110 could be a stop loss if you wanted it to. Because why? Here's where your targets are going to be. You don't have a ton of room to move from 117 entry where I have my crosshairs at. My target was 130. If I got back to 130, which was great, I got right to it. I took all my shares. Boom. If I get to 130, I'm going to take my shares, because my stop loss, I didn't have a $1 stop loss. My stop loss was the 110 area. I saw when this came down and kind of U-shaped back up, and it was moving back up right here. I'm like, man, now that's moved up even higher. Like, I don't want to test this lower VWAP band and just have it crush down to a lower area, especially if my stop, or my target, I should say, again, my target is 130. You could see old support equaled new resistance right over 130. It's like 132 or 133 or whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. So that's why I call it the 130 area. And always seeing, that's why I usually see area with my alerts, because it's rarely going to hit right on the dot. But the 117 entry, 130 was my target, 110 was my stop loss. So I had a 10, or say 110 was my stop loss. Yeah, so a 5-cent stop loss was really 7-ish cents in the end, because my entry was 117. And where was my goal? 132, 133, right? Perfect 2-to-1 ratio there. So I wanted about 14-ish, 15 cents or so in the end for an exit, because I was at 117. I wanted just a hair over 130, this area, 132, 133, whatever that is, with a stop loss around 110. Just that simple, So there was nothing below here that really showed me, this is what I'm talking about, nothing below chart-wise to let me know, well, where could I get a bounce play from? Where is this going to hold up maybe, AK? That to me, if you do the math right, even on top of the fact, so I just had that percentage in there going, man, if I want, say 10, well, I say 10, but it's more like 13 to 15 cents up, I can't go more than 6 or 7 cents on the downside. And so I saw where that lower VWAP band was there. 110 is a nice whole round number. I know a lot of stocks when they push above $1, 110 area is a very strong support. So it could be good, a resistance, I should say. So it could be a good support if it gets down that low. I'm not letting it get below 110. And so that was where I had my stop loss at, as you can see, and then how I've created here. For most traders, though, and so I'm going to put max on each and every one of these. You let this get below $1, team, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to keep dumping, most likely, and keep dumping. Now it's going to come back up and maybe try to test $1, and then it's going to fail again, could dump down. So your possibilities, essentially are not very good when you get back below 110 and try to get to $1, and then especially below $1. And so that's why, I'll give you $1 max. I will give you $1 max there in the end, even though it's only giving you a 1-to-1 ratio. And maybe you, among other traders, as I've gone and gotten a little bit better too, you had actually a price target of, say, this 150 area. So that makes more profit target, and that's fine if you did. So your max stop loss would be $1, right? So your max stop loss is $1 down here, but your target is all the way back up here at this 150-ish area. So that makes sense. So you have a 30, 35 cent when, your profit side and your stop loss is about 15-ish cents, just over. So again, 2-to-1 ratio, what we want to keep. And so that's why I'm saying most times the chart is going to set that up perfectly for you. Right there was a prime example. Whether you want 130 and 110 as your target and stop loss from a 115 entry, or you want 150 and you want $1 from about a 115 to that 117, entry. Perfect 2-to-1 ratio, all from the chart. Remember this was actually year before last, 2021. Me and Deck's first trade, or 2020 now. Wow, time has flown by. This is from our small account challenge when we first started this back in October of 2020. Our first trade we actually both took together because we saw what I love to see. This old resistance becoming new support once we finally push above it. So we wanted to bounce back off anywhere from 420 down to 4. We got it. So if your entry was where it was with ours, we didn't get the best of entries. I think both of us got about a 415-ish entry. Your stop loss is going to be around that $4 area in VWAP. Where I wanted my target to be, or me and Deck both wanted our target to be. Boy, I did not put that one in there. I don't know how. That's a miss from me. But AERC, I don't know how that didn't get in there. But AERC, what did we want as a target? Most of us in chat wanted back up to this 4.6 area. Old little support for a minute, old resistance. So 4.6 was the first target, with 4.9 being the high of day and the top target. So, somewhere from 70, 80 cents overall to where the first target was probably close to about, 40 cents or so away, 35, 45 cents away for most traders. Didn't get that. And so that's why I love showing you these as well that don't work in your favor. And so what to do. And so Deck and I both realized as this is teeter-tottering and going, VWAP-ish area is going to be my lowest stop loss area because, you do the ratio right. I want this up at least to 4.6. So 4.6, even if it's the first target, 4.6 from a 420-ish, 415 entry, this VWAP area, close to 4, that's pretty close to about a 2-to-1 ratio. And so we knew as this hovering up and down, it's getting pretty, sketchy and not really ever moving and getting in our direction. Both of us, and I'll never forget, it was in this candle, we started taking some profit off the table thinking this is not going to push. And that's why I learned this myself from trading the hard way, but then also even remember hearing this from Umar at the seminar saying, you're going to know usually in the first 5, if not especially 10 minutes, if your trade's going to usually work in your favor. As long as we've been doing this, you're going to know in the first 5 or 10 minutes if that trade's going to work out. Now, sometimes it takes a little longer, but generally you're going to know 5 or 10 minutes or so until you're going to know if it's working out. And we both could tell this was weak and not looking like it was going to return in our favor. So we started taking some profit off the table, which was not much. And then as soon as it started cracking back down, we were taking profit. We were moving our stop loss up to the well above the VWAP. My stop loss was like just above 405, and so it started cracking out this area. I just started scaling out in anticipation for this to happen, and then this happened. And so I'm glad I did that and didn't wait for, say, hey, the VWAP to crack to start getting out, or it would have been a losing trade. It's one of those where over time you may not be able to see that, at first, but over time you will. But if you don't, that's why, again, we put our stop loss right here and not have it, down here at 380 or down here at 360, or we're just going to keep holding. We're going to have a nice, smart stop loss, and we're going to stick to it, or this is going to happen, and you're going to take more of an L, and your L is going to get bigger. Sean, these are all just these are just for anyone. This is just for anyone, Sean. This is just for most people. I mean, some of these could have been 5,000, some of these could have been 3,000, some of these could have been 2,000. This is for anyone. And I mean, early on, I want most of you traders to what's so funny? Let's see here. That I put both of those in there. It's so funny. So we'll go back to Carve next one. That's on the next one. Most of these are for you guys. I want most of you. Well, if you're struggling with this and you're newer, as I went over in the first couple of mental lessons, I want you to go small. I want 100 shares, 500 shares max. I don't want any of you going that big in these. I want you to figure out that you can do these mentally and not psych yourself out, and you're actually sticking to the stop loss, and you're sticking to the targets, and you're sticking to your entries. That's a struggle all in itself. And so for newer traders, if you're having trouble with the stop loss or a target, seeing these and where I would want most of you to establish them, what I'm kind of going over in this lesson, and this is how I establish my stop loss and targets. At first, I don't care if you're going in a share, 10 shares, 3 shares for fun because you like 3 or the number 7. Just get this down and this strategy down and implement it day in, day out, put it to use and applying it. That way you're not even struggling with it anymore. Then you can worry about share size. Then you can go in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 or 5,000 shares. Does that make sense, Sean? So for this, I'm just kind of showing with you guys what you need to be looking for overall with your stop loss and with your target. This is how I find all my stop losses and all my targets. This is what I'm looking to. This is what I'm sticking to day in, day out. I'm not going to put some ratio in my head saying, okay, well, my entry is 3.8 and here's my 2-to-1 ratio. It's 30% this and 10% that. usually the charting is going to show me that. But yeah, share size. I mean, this one I went in. It was less than 1,000 because this was my halt strategy. I was just still kind of theorizing it. So it's probably like literally 500 shares, somewhere around that, maybe something like that. Most of these are my bounce plays. Like these are all like 3, 4. The small account challenge, this was probably only like 1,000 or 2,000 shares because the small account challenge. This would have been like a 5,000 to 7,000 share trade because this is when I'm in the prime of my bounce plays. I could have went in this 10,000 shares to be honest. I mean, because this is bounce plays when they were rolling like in 2020. Woo! That's when, and yeah, it's been a while since I've been big in play, since you've seen me big. And I know it's really like, man, AK Josh, he just doesn't trade big. Just because unless it's a short, and I still am not 5,000 to 6,000 shares shorter yet. I'll get there, and it took me a while with bounce plays. But most of these right here are all like this bounce play was like I think it was I want to say 3,000 or 4,000 shares here at this 210 mark that I got in. That was the first trade I showed you guys. This was at least 5. It could have been 10. I don't remember. This one I know was less than a K, and this is the next one we'll get into is Carve. And Carve. Remember Carve? Remember this from last month? When I carved this, I carved it up. This is the first time I carved Carve up and had no idea this was like a Juneteenth mover team. Look at this. Juneteenth. Look at this. I had no idea until last year, and then I realized what was going on with Juneteenth moves, and this was the one I talked about that moved crazy in 2020. Actually go over here now. Awesome. Sean, and that's what I would say. Sean, that's 100% what I would do right there. I would say once you do that long enough and you find consistency inside yourself and the discipline's gone up and the really maturity's gone up in your trading, the patience is there, you have all those big indicators that you need to worry about, like that you have to, of course, yourself type indicators. That's when I tell a lot of traders, and you can start bulking up your size. You need that win rate up. You need to have that 2-to-1 loss profit ratio too as well, and you've been doing that for 3, 4, 5, now 7, 8, 9 months on in, to where your average trades are, but your average wins are about say $400 or $500. Just hypothetical. We're just going on hypothetical here. Average wins are $400 or $500. Your average losses around say $200, or something like that. $250, some, what I mean. That 2-to-1 ratio of keeping everything intact. Your biggest win is say $750. Your biggest loss is hopefully only about $500 in that stretch. No, that's not the biggest thing. Of say they're about the same. Long as that the main two for me. 60 plus percent, I can't even say the word, 60 plus percent win ratio. You have a 60 plus percent win ratio. And secondly, your overall win-loss profit ratio is 2-to-1. So even with that, say all of a sudden, but say your biggest win's 1,000, your biggest loss is 1,300. Your biggest loss is actually bigger, but your overall in that, say 7, 8, 9, or even 6 month time frame, profit loss, ratio, win-loss profit ratio is like around say 4-to-2, 400, 200. It's actually managed, even though outside of that, those maybe a couple of big losses, you're golden. Those are the main two things. Your percentage win rate is at over 60%, and is your win-loss profit ratio is at 2-to-1. Is it close to 2-to-1? And if that's the case, and you've done that for 6 months to a year, go up the next scale. Do that for another 6 months or so. You can manage that next scale up some more. Got that? All right, let's get into continuing this. Entry, halt up strategy team. Love. I love the halt strategy team. Oh, I love it. How much I love this. I mean, I hadn't been practicing this long, and thank gosh 2020 was super hot. But Carve, I attacked it right off the bat, and I was alerting this in chat on the dot. I don't think I put my alerts in this one. There's a lesson that I did. I think it's a halt strategy where I pull my lessons or my alerts over. Alerted this, watch for 11:20, but 11:20, I want this off this. This is where it halted up at. It went flying up into another halt, gapped up, had this up and down movement, halted down right here. And so traders in chat even that's another thing too. It's halted down right there, team, at $12. And I love that because that means I've got 80 cents to not only gap down, see a quick pullback, and I'm like, that's plenty of room for a gap down and a pullback and a bounce off of this 11:20 area back up to 12. So 11:20 entry, and now again you're going because there isn't a lot of charting there. So you're going, where's your stop loss and target? Well, target, which you can pretty see right off the bat, the old halt up price at $12. So right here, and I said anything at or above VWAP that could be profit number one for a lot of traders. But really, my main target team is where it halted down at. I know it's going to be resistance, and you can tell it was when it did open back up for a minute. That's it. If I can get back to 12, 80 cents, and it happens quickly, you're going to open up. That's why I put these in ahead of time. waiting, kind of reading the level 2. Where is it going to open up at? Ooh, I can trust this area. I saw that the open was just right above it. Opened up right above it. Quick little pullback, and this thing went, right into 12 like a space needle. So I knew I was going to get 12, but I, just to be safe, trader, anything right or above the VWAP's great for profit taking number 1, but your main goal is the $12 area where it halted down at right at $12. Anything above that, golden pony boy, because why? Your stop loss is this little 1080 area right here. This small little shelf that's being built in. Below that where you know what's going to happen, and you better get out of it. And so that's why I'm like, hey, that's 40 cents. This is 80 cents. 2 to 1. That's a perfect little pizza. A perfect pizza pie. Why I alerted that while it was halted down. I saw this while it was halted down. I'm like, okay, I want 11.20 entry, $12 my target, 1080 stop loss. Let's go. Right? That was it. I was ready to rock and roll. Ready to go before it even came in. Had the order in, was filled, bling, was filled, shot straight up, was out. I didn't even wait for this, unfortunately. I was like, damn it. But boom, I think it was 500 shares or less, but it wasn't much. And I was like, man, I need to start taking part of these. And this is where I started making most of my money. Again, that halt strategy. By the end of 2020, which was only half a year that I'd really done the strategy, as you could tell, I really started implementing it 6th, 7th month of the year. Half a year, and it made me, like I said, around 40-ish, 30 to 40K probably. I have to go back and look. It may have only been like 25, but still a lot. Let's get through the rest of these real quickly before y'all ask any questions about it, like G. Calante. Let me get through the rest of this. So real quick, let's get through some. These are pretty, so here's same with the halt strategy. Again, it's pretty simple stuff, team. I love this, the halt strategy. So the entry would be, of course, where do we know? The halt down, or the halt, I should say, where it halted up at. So we finally get the entry price right here. Here's where we halted up at earlier. So when we come flying all the way up. Now, this is kind of like, wow, you're going to take a play there. I may not take a trade there, but I just generically just kind of showing you these. I'm just trying to go through as many of these as you can. I almost did one up top, but it gapped down so far, so I really couldn't have done a bounce play up top because it gapped down so hard. But it is crazy how this came right down. The one halt that it did bounce off of, because it didn't gap down into any of them, and actually finally opened up above it. Thank gosh. This the rest of them always gapped down, as you can tell, below where it halted up at. Every time we opened up, we were opening up below where we halted up at. This one actually finally opened up above one of those halt ups, and so we got to finally get a chance to see if it would hold. It did. And so if you did want to finally take that strategy, your stop loss, and here's what you're doing. You can see the charting where to take the L, or to take the stop loss. This area right here, it's beautiful. I mean, it's drawn in for you with these 3 red lines, but of course the charting is as well saying, hey, get back below that baby boy and you're done. You get back below that area and you're done, and you can tell, to me at least, where to take it. If you want to take some at the 875 roll, kind of where it where it halted down up, that's kind of your main area. Your main 2 areas of where you want to take round 1. Anything above that, as always, is going to be a great trade. Obviously, you get in at 8-ish area, 790. You get up 85, 90 cents like that, or even close to $1. Depends on where you got in at. Say you even got in right at 8. Not that you got it in this candle, but that's what I'm saying. Anything back over that 875 or 9, that's a pretty darn good quick fast trade, and you just made 80 cents to $1 like that. And that's sometimes we've seen recently. It takes a long time to get 80 cents to $1 with a lot of plays recently. So I just want to show you with some of these simple plays, some of these harder plays, where to get in at and where to put you. This is another great one that works out perfectly. It's 2-to-1 loss ratio. Another one, actually, I did this. Another one, I actually did take this one right here. I remember this one like a bat out of hell, because I had this one as well on another lesson where I show you my alerts from chat when of course, it was back in 2020 where I was just nonstop alerting for you guys all day, every day. Now not nearly as busy, just doing a lot of other stuff, of course, but I'll get back to those alerts when it gets busy again. But 285 entry arrows it was for me. Why did I want 285? There was more. I should have zoomed out a little bit more so you could see it. There was one little small shelf here, but then if you go back even further in pre-market team, there was a really nice hefty shelf for this ticker earlier, a resistance shelf that we ran into again right before this, and we failed at it, and then we came down, blah, 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 and then we ran back up into it. And so I was like, ooh, I was alerting in chat. 385 bounce team, right around 385, maybe even 380. If you want to do 380, I can see why, like right here, but 385 is what I'm going for my bounce. Where's my stop loss at? I come down, remember, always down and to the left. Well, nothing really immediately down because the VWAP's already there. So down, now to the left. This is the first true sandwich shelf I see. Right about 365 to 370. You can see right here around this 370 mark where the VWAP was before. Then we ran up into it as resistance. So when you're around 365 to 375 as my stop loss. Where's my target now? Well, of course, luckily we have some nice movement in pre-market to show me exactly where I want to move to. When it fell back down, now I see that this was created right here where we ran into at the opening bell and failed. That also matches up with a lot of resistance right here, at least a decent amount at this 410 mark. So 410 to 415, stop loss number, or I should say target number 1, price target PT number 2. This high of day in pre-market was my overall top area I wanted to get to, was this right here, team. Whammy right into it, and I was out. I mean, I was in this trade and out of this trade. Literally, it was one of those 1 minute trades that I didn't know that I was going to be in. I was holding longer at this point in my life, but was only in for literally about a minute, maybe minute and a half. Again, targets, I should say, 415, 425, so up from 385. That's a good 30 to 40 cents right here, team. Where's my stop loss? 15 to 20 cents away. 2 to 1 profit target. You know, that's always 2 to 1. Chart is going to set it up almost 90% of the time. Here's another great one. I love this. Another great trade right here. All right, so entry. Say if you wanted the VWAP break right here. So we got the U-shaped VWAP break back up for the breakout. We saw like a trillion of these, it seemed like, in 2020 that would run back up to their pre-market or high of day at the opening bell that they spiked at. Break back above opening, closing candles above the VWAP here. Of course, this wasn't perfect here, but it was pretty close enough. And back over, we'll just say we'll just call it 835 was the entry area. So 835 entry area as we get back and over. Can I not see the whole entire screen? Thought we could see some more of the price action right there. I thought we could see the price. So around this 835 area for the entry for a squeeze back to where? Probably overall up top, but where's the stop loss? Always the stop loss first. My entry is going to be here over the VWAP. If I fail at the VWAP immediately and we don't close and open candles above it and it fails for me, where am I going to get out if it does move back down? I'm going to tell each and every one of you the high area and the low area. The high area here, this little 810, that's going to be the safer, more, profit, he's going to, I should say, keeps his stop loss super tight type trader. That's going to be around the 810 area, right around 810. Now, a little bit riskier trader. You want to let his room a little bit more for his stock to run. Not now super risky trader. We don't want it all the way down here to the 7.5 area. That just makes no sense given an 80-cent stop loss, obviously, right? But the 795-ish area right here, right below it, around 795, right here we see these little lower shadows. I don't know if you want to go down that low around 785, which I think that's what these were. That's going to be your lowest area. Because if you get below this, and especially this, you are headed to this, and now you are down 80 cents in a trade. That's not what we typically want, is to be down 80 cents in a trade. So that's why I'd come up top. And this is where my stop loss would be. Anywhere from 8 to this 810, 815 area, that's my stop loss. It would be my stop loss, team, 100%. Where is my target at? Pretty easy to tell. That high of day area of where you want that, that price target would be that high of day area. We'll scroll over a little bit to the right so you can see what I'm looking for. Anything at 9 or above would be your main area to get to. But as we know, Deck talks about 875 area. I always talking about the open. He brings it up here and there. I noticed that open price is really tough to get back over. And we, had a little struggle there for a second. And so that's where most of your profit taking, at least for me, would have been had. 875 roll up to $9 somewhere in there. I very rarely would be holding for this extra little bit of room to run, knowing that if I got 75 to 85 cents out of this move, I am loving life right now, moving into the next day or next trade. Not usually typically trying to hold on for this extra little bit. Now, again, you want to hold on, you can. That's fine. Why? You've got a stop loss that probably, even if, as I tell you to do, you've taken some profit, you've moved your stop loss up from, say, the 795 to 810 area, now up to your entry, which you should do for sure 100%. And stick to it if you want to. You never would have gotten hit. Like, I would just, it's kind of like me. I run out of ammo too quick. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, damn, I scaled out. Okay, oh, well. I hit my targets. I guess that's good. That's fine. Then this happens, and you're like, oh, I wish I had more ammo. Oh, where's that ammo little icon? I need to run over some more ammo in the game. It never hit your target. I mean, your stop loss, just to say. Not only your first stop loss, but it never even hit your entry, which is your new stop loss. And so know that sometimes. That's why I always say, if anything, move your stop loss up at least to your entry so you leave this trade green. Minimizing risk, taking profit, putting in your back pocket, and then that way, if anything, you leave that trade green. Here's some more real quickly. Here's another, we got last couple of these real quickly so you can see trend line. So you want to go for a trend line play, or I should say there's a bottom trend line there, but we got multiple trend lines forming here. So we got this old resistance equals new support area at 245. Say you went in for a bounce that I like, right? You know, you had this old resistance area at 240, 245. Finally pop above it a good 20 cents at 265. Oh, honestly to 270. I like that pullback to 240, 245 now. So you go for a bounce play there. Where's your stop loss going to be? VWAP or the trend line. This old trend line, which I did, kind of made this a little too high. I could have made this a little better. I would have said either one of those two. If it gets back below either one of those, you know it's going to go down even further, all the way down to this 210 mark or whatever it was holding up early in the day, right around 210 or just below. We don't want to be in that low. That's a 35-cent loss. That's huge. Or even then, you're probably saying, oh, go okay. Well, if it gets back up to my entry, I'll take it. You go off these different theories of when you'll start taking your stop loss instead of just sticking to your stop loss. So your entry 245, stop loss this 240 shelf in the VWAP or the old trend line around 220. End of story, team. End of story. I'm telling you right now. End of story. Just make that. I'm telling you, you're going to be a much more successful trader and have a lot more wins and a lot smaller losses. 245 entries. Okay, where's your target at? Well, of course, originally price target number one. I went a little higher on most of these. I would have went 265, right? 270, 265 here. That would be my first price target area. So essentially, in these candles, which was a great bounce, boom. I love this team. Back to my bounce play strategy that I talked about on Tuesday. Remember, old resistance equals new support. I love this resistance, resistance, resistance. Let's pop above it, get a bounce play off of it. Love that. This right here is where I'm taking probably 50% of my shares. Right here, as soon as this pops up into these high of day candles around 270, if I see anything over 270, essentially, I'm seeing 271, 273, 275, taking half my shares. Half. Boom, gone. Then when it starts popping into this 280 area, I'm probably taking another quarter. Then I'm going to move my stop. Now, of course, that's already been in my head because it's all mental for me. My stop loss is definitely now moved to my entry price for the VWAP as this moves up. And I'm in my last little quarter share size just to, and I'm really then, because I'm in long on Thinkorswim, so I can scale out for free. So I might as well scale out. Hell, I can scale out one share at a time. It ain't going to cost me a dime. And so that's why I'll scale out real slowly in that kind of the last quarter share size as this pops up. I'm starting to try to do that with the last half share size. So taking half, minimizing risk, moving my stop loss up, and then in the last half share size, slowly but surely scale out as this moves up. Makes sense, team? You kind of see the areas they'll be looking for in most of these trades. I think that's really kind of... short side. Let's go for the short NATOs. That's right, the short side. I got to go to the shorts. Let's go to the shorts real quickly. Let's go for some shorts. Same thing, it's just reverse. So instead of going down into the left, you're going up into the left. So here we go. So for your stop loss, you're going to, instead of going down into the left for your stop loss for longs, you're going up into the left for your stop loss for shorts. And so you're in short trend line crack right here. Open or close open candles, boom, your entry is right around the 410, 415 area. Where's your stop loss? Old trend line up or this 425 area. That's it. You get over this high of day and this old trend line up, what do you think's going to happen, team? I think we all know. Squeeze in a new high of day and it's going to continue to pop to 4.4, 4.5, etc. So where's your target at? On the long or on the bottom side. So you're going now, just like the opposite, instead of up and to the left, you're going down and to the left for your targets, right? You're just flip-flopping it. So you're going down to the left for your targets on the way down, kind of like you'd be almost kind of like this is where you'd be looking for reversals on the way back up, kind of where you'd put your stop loss because it could bounce there. It's, again, the same thought process. You're just flipping it really in a way, but you're using that same mentality going, hey, when this moves down, where could it bounce at? I need to lock up profit there, right? And so, boom, when we crack down, the first area I see is around this 390-ish area. The second area is going to be around the VWAP and 380. And then, of course, part 3 of it all, and the price target 3 would be anything when the VWAP actually cracks, takes some more off the table, right? So, entry again, trend line crack. You're entering in, closing open candles around 410. Your stop loss is high of day at 425, old trend line up, anything above those two. Your targets, 3.9, 3.8 in VWAP, and below the VWAP, you know you're going down more. Let's go into the last one of the day here, team. Very simple stuff right here. Trend line crack, close and open candles. Here's your entry around the 615 area, 610 area. Where is your stop loss at? Back above. Now you're just going up and to the left. So in my opinion, we'll go with the old trend line up depending on where that trend line ends up being at because I'm always worried about that. But here in the VWAP, because you see at the VWAP, there's a little bit of a sandwich at 6.4-ish area. Old resistance, a little bit of support. So I'd say anything back over that VWAP in 6.4, this is going to start taking off some more. So your stop losses, trend line up, VWAP to 6.4, max for your stop loss. Where are your targets at now on your way down? Targets on the way down. Let's go over to your targets here, team. Pretty simple stuff as well. So your first target, somewhere around this 5.9 area, then somewhere around this 5.8 area, Then anything at 5, 6, and under for your last price target. So you can see on the way down where to lock some up at. Some are right around this 5.9-ish area, and 5.8 really is kind of this 5.8. I guess it's 5.85, but you can tell this area right here is price target to me, number 1 on the short. Price target number 2 is this 5.6 area, and price target number 3 honestly should be anything, kind of like the last one, anything below 5.6 and under. Whammy! You get your short. And so does that make sense, team? Does that really, can you see right there in the end what I'm looking for day in, day out for our shorts there, for our longs, for our price targets, essentially long or short, where I'm looking for my price targets and I'm looking for my stop losses. Woo! Wow. I went to that lesson for about 45 minutes or so. All right, see, G. Calante holds rhythm overnight. I am planning to hold mine because if I look at the daily, yeah, exactly. That's what I went over earlier, G. Calante. I don't know if you're just getting in here, G. Calante, but I went over that many times today, baby boy. But that is exactly what I've went over. Maybe you just weren't, you were like, I'm not listening to AK. But yes, D. Sarley, I think, was, or maybe it was Trader 1. I think it was maybe Trader 1 that was second. But yes, that is exactly what I'm looking at. Went over that myself earlier in chat for rhythm. Is the night rhythm. Oh, here comes more shorting from Siga team. SIGA, shoulder, head, shoulder. There is a little bit of a head and shoulders here up top. We did crack the 14.6 shelf. See that? It's just simplicity. Simplicity. Like so here, if you want to go for a short NATO like earlier, like we talked about. So the 14.6 shelf crack. Let's get into this in a 1 minute time frame so we can see where our entries would have been. Oh, and blow the view up, so even better. So our entry here would be about 14.5 team. Our target number 1. 14, and it hit it on the dot. 14.30. Target number 2, low 14. Stop loss. Anything now back above 14.6. Make sense? RYTM though, real quickly, so you can see this. We'll get back to a 3 minute time frame. G. Calante, you're all over that, boss. Yes, been alerting that many times today though, baby boy. Waiting for the first red day, so if you want to go ahead and get in now in anticipation of the red day forming, we did have this trend line crack up top. If we crack this 14.65 shelf, this could be, a double whammy, good short. Not only we cracked the trend line, that was short number 1. Short number 2 was kind of underneath this $14.95, $15 shelf, and now short number 3 is going to be 14.65 and down. Sean, you're welcome. Yeah, hopefully that helps out. It just sometimes seems if there is a ticker that moves technically sound, do just some quick little due diligence like that for fun, and I promise you're gonna say, wow, this was a lot easier finding some targets and finding a stop loss than I thought it would be. Like the stop loss will be, and they'll all line up in a close 2-to-1 ratio. I would say 75-85% of the time it's just that easy. You can just go in. Here's my entry. Okay, wow, that's my stop. Oh, the target. This is perfect. It's 2-to-1 ratio. This is great. Love it. It's just trying to simplify, me like always simplifying things, what you need to be looking for. Now, that's not every single trade, but I would say 85 to 90% of my trades, that's what I'm doing. 85 to 90% of my trades, I'm using the chart to let it set up itself and let me know where the target, or what entry is, of course. That's what we're usually using the charting for, right? So if we're using that for the entry, we might as well use that for the targets and, of course, for the stop loss. Very rarely are we going, well, the stocks moved 74% today. If I divide that by 2 and this, like, no, we're going, here's the, here's support and here's resistance. So if we're using the charting for, entries, we need to use that for stop losses and targets, or know at least those areas are going to be relevant and can help you out and save your ass from 20 cents more on a loss, or 30 cents more on a loss, or 15 cents more, where sometimes you could lock up. And when you don't, you see that more of a loss. So there is a reason for that, and it's because your stop loss. And maybe you have, you know what I'm saying? Figure out where that stop loss is. To me, targets are great. Stop entry is always A1A. That's your first thing. If your entry's wrong, you're wrong. You're off. You got ways to go. You get your entries right and your entries on, the sky's the limit. Then you can work on your stop losses and you can work on your targets. And the main thing you need to work on first after your entries, as I always talk about, is your stop loss team. Find how good you are and how mentally patient you can be and disciplined you are by creating those stop losses and sticking to them day in, day out. Then once you start doing that, like it's nothing, then you can start worrying about sticking to those targets and holding on to those longer. And then the main thing you need to do is start moving that stop loss up. So you stop washing out your trades. Because a lot of traders will wash a trade out. They won't take profit is the main thing in a first little micro area, which I know I need to get into. And I was kind of showing you here where you're going to have multiple price targets, on the way up or down. So micro areas to take profit. A lot of traders to your overall goal and target. Traders won't take that. And unfortunately, then it comes back down then through their entry and into the stop loss. And then sometimes they're then still holding through the stop loss. That becomes what could be a manageable loss because you stuck to your stop loss is now a massive loss. And it could have been even more of a manageable loss or even a wash trade at least, which is better than a loss because you could have scaled out at those first targets. Instead of doing that, you now are down to your stop loss without ever taking any profit, now leading to a full-on loss. And that's where a lot of traders then have that mental, unfortunately, unstable, it's unstable mind of going, oh, this will come back up this, or if I could, okay, I'm gonna average down, okay, if this just gets back to my entry, I'll get out then, or you start putting yourself to the struggle of theorizing of how this is gonna come back up versus just taking the loss and moving on. G. Calante have not gotten in yet, baby boy. Waiting for the first red day to show itself. So that's why, again, back to that, I have not taken a position yet. Waiting for that first pure red day to form on RYTM, and I know from there it's going to start going down more. Grigor. And I'm glad you came over, boss. So I'm glad you came over. Rocket TJ. Lunch is over. Rocket TJ, now that you're back. Man, Rocket TJ, real quickly, if you're still around, two things since you've been gone, baby boy. Well, not two. Really just one. One, let's have some lunch, because, man, I want some whole hog. Two, the 392 has been shipped. Boom, 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 boom. I hope I didn't say that too loud because she is home today. But the 390, there's no way. She's got TV on out there. She's bravoing it up on her phone. So, so rocking TJ, just like last time with Falcor and the Grand Cherokee, I'm going to come right down to you and you're going to be one of the first ones to ride in it. I'm going to come down and see you, baby boy. Let's see, Sean, I have been having trouble lately with taking the first shot at resistance or support, like the opposite of hesitating. Any pointers on your boy? Let's see here. Like the opposite of hesitating. Hold on, I'm trying to get this. I've been having trouble lately with taking the first shot at resistance. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, smaller share size. Start testing those theories a lot more so, especially if you're seeing those, like you kind of like me, you plan it out. You set it, the plan, you're creating and sticking to the plan. That's kind of what we went over today. You created a plan, but you just didn't stick to it. It's kind of what you're doing. You create it, but you don't stick to it. The best thing to do is go smaller share size. Theorize that plan. Like when I first started doing trend line cracks, when I first started doing halt strategies, when I first started doing any of these things that I see work out day in, day out, I'm like, these are working out on all these recaps I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to watch a few more of these happen live in front of me. And then after that has happened live in front of me, on top of what I've already seen happen in recaps, that is in stuff that I've seen happen in the past, I'm going to start taking part of these, but I'm going to go smaller share size at first. And then the more you're in these and they're working out and you're realizing you can trade these and they're working, then you're going to start upping that share size over time. So I think that's the best thing for most traders to do, is get in smaller. So that's why, Sean, I know what you're saying. It results in red along the way, and that's what happens every time. So, Sean, if it happens right off the bat, and you have a plan that's set up, and it happens, and you're like, damn it, you mean, because what you're saying, let's say I let it test for a few more minutes, but I'll take a short into some confirmation, then it gets squeezed, and I reshort. Eventually I get it. And that's why I want a lot of traders to say, hey, test it at first, and if it's working, it's working. If it's not, figure out what's wrong with it. Why aren't you right on this trade? And so that's why I want a lot of traders at first. If they're taking the L's, that's fine. Let's figure out why we're taking the L and just go small share size at first. Go back over that trade every single time. Dive into it. Maybe if you aren't getting it, then maybe you can ask me, you can ask Deck or someone else, say, hey, what am I not getting here? Why does this keep moving up? We can maybe try to break it down more for you. But I would say the main thing for those, what you're having trouble with at first, and those first shots at resistance support, instead of hesitating, you're just kind of jumping on in. Test it. If it's working, it's working. But if it's not, try to figure out why it's not working, and then adjust and adapt it. And maybe it's something that you're doing. It's not the setup, the style of strategy. It's kind of what you're doing, and you're not working that style setup strategy to its proper usage, if that makes sense. Debbie, thank you. I'm glad you got it, Debsters. Sorry, I know that may be like a nickname. You're like, please don't call me Debsters. Lil Debbie. Of course, every time I think of you, or hear or see your name or say your name, it's like, I gotta have I want some star crunches now. I want some of those little devil rolls or whatever they're called, a little Swiss devil roll thingamajiggers. I want oatmeal cream pie cookie thingamajigger dudes. I want the peanut butter. Oh my gosh, a little Or the peanut butter, the ones you can like peel apart, the peanut butter things, the little wafers, the peanut butter. Oh my gosh, Debbie, now I'm gonna be fat today. I gotta start my diet. I go in Florida in 2 weeks. I've got to be on the diet for like the next 2 weeks. Does that make sense though, Sean? Let me know if you need to, if that theorization works and understand that. Or Grigor, okay, can you talk a little bit? Good advice, Sean. Good advice. Attributed all day try and nail day one short, and it's hard to get the reversal without wide. Yeah, 100%. And Sean, I think that's why. And I almost said this a couple times, and I think you know that with me. That's why I just wait a lot of the time with my shorts. And that's fine. And I'll say that I may not get like right here with RYTM. I may not get the top piece of the pie. You know, I'm gonna get a piece of it. You know, on this move down, and I have a good feeling it's gonna be a good multi-day move down in the end. But that's why I wait for kind of, and I know I'm not going to get the top area, and that's fine with me. I as long as I get a piece of the pie, so I know I'm shorting in areas where I'm not getting as much room or profitability, essentially, you know, movement as a lot of traders if they did get a higher entry, and that's fine with me. I just know my entry is going to be a safe entry, and I'm going to take the W versus take the, you know, risk. So that's what anytime any trade, you know, if it's, you know, deal or no deal, or if it's let's make a deal, that's the newest one, any of them where it's making a deal, and they said, okay, you get the W, but you don't know your win or the risk, and you get it all. Well, of course, it's the game. It's a game show. I'll probably just have fun and let's do the risk. But if I know if I'm going to be in real life, I will burn. I will watch that risk card burn every time, and I'm like, just take me the W. I don't care if it's 3 pennies. W, because I know along the way a lot of those W's are going to be $300, $500. A lot of those W's are going to be over $1,000. Now, yeah, there are going to be some smaller W's, but I'll take a W any day of the week over the risk what could be a big L any day. If I had a guaranteed W versus a guaranteed, or not a guarantee, but a risk with a 70%, even if it's 50% or 70%, I don't care. This is 100% W. I'm going 100%, or you know what I'm saying, every time. I don't care if it's, you know, small versus taking that risk. Man, I swear I get the little tickle nose every time I'm in here. And so I'm telling you, next office, no dogs, unless they don't shed. Feel bad, but no dogs in my next office. Okay, we're back to you, Grigor. Can you talk a little bit more about timing as well? The first Green Day stock. I just shorted TRHC at 403 and covered at 395, made 8 cents. I didn't want to hold longer. Let's see, TRHC. Let's go back to that. What did that ever get down to? TRHC. Yeah, I would say 100%, because I would say Grigor, what we've seen a lot recently, we haven't had like, and that's why I tell a lot of traders, it goes right back hand in hand with what Sean's talking about when I was just going over. Just take part of your trades, and over time you can get more of those multi-day moves. I'm telling you, at first, just get a piece of the pie. Over time, you will realize and work on these certain setups and strategies and indicators of what you need to be using, and watching these maybe fade down to certain areas. Over time, you're going to start realizing, hey, here's what I need to stick to. Oh, here's what I need to be looking for. Oh, here's what I also need to be adding to that. It's going to be hard to do at first. And so over time, get a piece of the pie, right? Get a piece of the pie. Maybe it cracks this right here, cracks 390. Get another piece of the pie, right? Just get as many pieces of pie as you can early on. Now, I know, again, if you're under the PDT, it uses up some of those trades, and I totally understand that. You don't want to do that. You want to get the whole piece, the whole pie at first, and so that's the trade. It just takes a long time to get there. There's nothing I can tell you right off the bat. Well, here, do this, do that. I can still tell you what to do. Are you going to do it? No, I can lead a horse to water. Doesn't mean he's going to drink it. That makes sense? Not to be rude there at the end, but you know what I'm saying, though, Grigor and anyone, you know. That's why you met me at first. Hell, I was the 1 minute. I call myself the 1 minute man, team. I mean, come on. I call myself the 1 minute man. That's a pretty bad disgrace. I was not good at first. I was in these trades for literally a minute. So that's why I kind of told you at first, hey, before I started all that off, that was me. I was the person, you know, that didn't stick to the price target or the stop loss or even my entry. I'm just like, well, plan immediately out the window. Like, it's like everything I thought about before is completely just got erased. And I was like, oh, green, we'll take it. Okay, I'm down 10 cents out. Okay, well, it's like I just start, you know, misfiring in my brain. So I think a lot of people just need to be patient, get pieces of the pie, and over time you're going to see more of the backside move. What to be looking for day one shorter? Is it going to be day two shorter? I was going to say to you, be careful, because we've seen a lot of day one movement continue, and sometimes it actually ended until day 3 that we get a good short. Now, there for a while, it was day 2 we got the short, you know, April, May especially, geez, and kind of, you know, we got it great. It was like day 1 shorted, almost day 1 shorted. You know, there was a lot of stocks that would pop up. Remember, there was like a week, 2 weeks in a row. I'll never forget that. Where I was like short this, short that. I remember I always talking about the infamous one, HTCH, that Alex Vaughn got kind of hassled in chat, and it was one of those ones I'm like, no, this is a good short. This has happened every day for the past 2 weeks. Why are we not shorting Fitch? You know, it was on a Friday. Another great short opportunity in the end. So it's one of those ones where, let's look at the conditions overall. What have we seen in the past 2-3 weeks or so? What have we seen any kind of different condition-wise? And that's one thing that's always into play. But one of the things that, like I said, back to the point, just get pieces of the pie. You'll learn later as time moves on. And even me trying to get, RYTM, trying to get my first multi-day mover. I'm just more about getting pieces of pie. If it's 10 cents, 20 cents at times, that's fine. I know I'll get my 50, 60, dollar moves. They'll come. It's all about getting win after win after win, and I almost said whacking those wins up. Going back to, I'm telling you, every day I pull up a Looney Tune character. Bird Dog, thanks for yesterday's lesson of going with a smaller size. I've been going with Tobog too many times, and exactly 100%. Yeah, there we go. So was done in an hour and able to bike ride here in the heat. There we go, before the heat. We'll continue following this plan. There you go, big Bird Dog. Look at that, Bird Dog. I forgot about that yesterday. Yeah, you were up and took your bike ride. We talked about you being up close to Vale. Good. Yeah, man, awesome, man. Enjoy it. That's what trust me. That's why I try to teach simplicity. Down the line, let's get to more of the, more expert level. Let's get to me, even what's the middle one? I always go always like intermediate level, right? Well, so what's the middle one they always call in the games? But you know what? First, we're novices. We're on beginner mode. Working our way to get to intermediate. And then at intermediate, then we can start adding a few more things at the table. It's not until you get to that expert mode do you really start holding, for the most part, stocks a little bit longer, understanding how stocks are going to most likely move ahead of time, what to be looking for ahead of time. I'm not even in expert mode, to be honest, Tim. I know at times it seems, and I have times I kind of feel it spiking and spicing into expert mode, but I'm still completely in intermediate mode, in my opinion, pushing hard to get to expert mode. Yeah, it's all good. I was trying to read that, Bird Dog. It's all good. You were trying to type fast. I'm sure you were trying to type fast though too. You were just excited, typing fast. You just wanted to type. It's not. It's that very much can be seen. I've done this many a time in the past. All right, see any last questions, comments, concerns? Afternoon commentary is probably already starting for Matt. If there's anything you want me to go over, let me know. Here's my website. Of course, come on over next week. Don't forget, I will be doing those morning sessions. So if anyone wants to come over, I still have a couple left. I think maybe I forgot because someone did hit me up about the one from yesterday. But I do those once a month, the last week of every month, till the last week of August, the last week of course, July, which will be next week, the last week of August, September. Any month, I'll be doing live trading with you guys for 3 days. So if you want to come over and live trade with me like I was doing the beginning part of this year, I'll be doing those morning sessions with you. So next week, more live morning trading with traders next week. Then I will go live with you guys on possibly Thursday and Friday, but definitely Friday. Thursday, since I'm doing that live trading with traders, maybe Thursday I take the day off I say just to trade by myself, to relax and get some trades in by myself. Of course, all day, every day on Friday, that's never going to stop. I'll be going live tomorrow morning is my point. So tomorrow morning, you will have me for live morning commentary. Oh, Mellow, no, man. No, Mellow, Lightspeed. I very rarely short on Thinkorswim. I only short on Lightspeed. Lightspeed's my broker for 2 years now. MJS. Unfortunately, Dex moved away from it too. He's the one that got everyone at Lightspeed. Then he got a lot of people to go over. Well, of course, because a lot of people were using Trade Zero. But then he got to deal with Trade Zero, and then he left Trade Zero. He just dates. I'm telling you. I'm surprised. I guess because he finally got. Man, I ain't want to tell the girl. I'm like, you might want to be careful with this tease over here. This dude is a tease. Lightspeed gone. Trade Zero gone. What's he announcing tomorrow? Won't let anyone know. The traders laugh. I'm like, can you not say people's names? You don't want to promote them? He's a tease. Deck, Sean, you're a tease. Any last questions, any comments, concerns, anything else you have? Thank you all for coming over here. Renard, Sean, MJS, Mello, D. Sarley, Bird Dog, Joey, Grigor, who all alerted recently. Thank you, Ascension. Thank you guys for coming on over. Miss Boss, Debbie, Super Buddy, Geek Bomb, Megalodon Bomb, Rockin' TJ, G Calante, anyone else, this dude for coming over today. Thank you guys. Renard, Love Chip, Vegeta for sure. But yeah, Mellow, yeah, Lightspeed though. Lightspeed's been my main shorting brokerage. Although, like again, I'll tell everyone when I'm going to, but I've said a few times I will be eventually getting over to Centerpoint or Cobra. I'll have to make my mind up which C brokerage I want to get over to, as in which Cobra or Centerpoint. They both start with C's. Not that they're C brokerages. I don't want people to get confused. They're A brokerages. Vegeta, Melo, Love Chip. Yeah, exactly. And then he's gonna, yeah, exactly. And he's gonna leave center point. He's gonna go over to like, and then he's gonna be going over to somewhere else. Fly on the wall, you're good. First it was E-Trade, he left it. He still uses the level 2 though. Miss Boss, you got it. Miss Boss. D Sarley, this is my boy D Sarley. You're all my boys though, boys and girls. G Calante, what's up? Miss Boss, I sent you one back. Yeah, I sent you one back, Miss Boss. I don't know if you got it though either. I sent you one back. It's just one of those things. That's the one thing about trade ideas about Tradecaster, that if you close down or close up shop, it will oh no, you did send one back. See, that's what happened to me. So then you sent me one back. See, I left yesterday. I told you guys that, but you sent me one back. So it's the opposite way. So I got to get back to you now. But that's what happens. I closed up shop. And if I close up shop and then come back up, that's the only thing I don't like. Your messages don't like. There's an inbox thing at the very top right hand corner. I want to show you guys this. I wish it would show you when you pop back up. You had messages. See, there used to be a thing when it pops up, but there used to be an inbox thing up top. There used to be an inbox. That's poll. Yeah, there used to be an inbox thing up top right here. It's not there anymore. And it used to let you know when there was a message, that you had a message. And I wish they would come back with that and make it a little more. Because I missed that. Because I don't know. That's my point. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Miss Boss. I'll get back to you. I suck. Mello, I did sign up for TradeStation and did the demo. I just don't like it. And I think a lot of traders notice that, Mello. It's just like Thinkorswim in my opinion, except for it has just a few more shorts. So I like Thinkorswim. I like everything on Thinkorswim a little bit more because the platform itself that they use, TradeStation, is pretty much copy and pasted from what they do on Thinkorswim. So I'm like, now you're copying off my brokerage. So I kind of was like, really? I like it, but then I'm like, come on. And then secondly, the shorts are a little more relevant, but they run out so fast. So I think that was Tim. I know it was Tim. There was a lot of traders in chat that did go over there. It's just that if you don't get them right away, their shorts run out in a hurry. And so it has the same amount of shorts that you're going to get for the stocks that are always easy to borrow on Thinkorswim, which are like AMD, the ones that I always bring up to you guys that you could short day in, day out. SIGA, RYTM is actually easy to borrow on Thinkorswim. RYTM team is easy to borrow on Thinkorswim, which is awesome. So you're going to get about the same amount of shorts. I think you're going to get a little bit more. Here goes. Now finally, here comes TBLT a little bit with this U shape. Now TBLT, guys, because it's hitting this 520 mark. But I like it a little bit more short, just a little bit more. But if it's overall brokerage, I'm going to go Thinkorswim. Overall, I'm going Thinkorswim any day of the week over TradeStation. Now, TradeStation, again, we'll have a few more shorts, but that's what I have Lightspeed for. I was hoping I'd go over there and it would just be like, yes, this is great. It's not. Penny stocks, anything under $15 to $20 and it's spiking like penny stocks, you're not going to have a very good chance of getting the shorts in. And Miss Boss, you're all good. All right, team. I think we're done. Any last questions? Anything else you want to go over? Anything at all? I think we're done for the day. I want to get some banger rings out from you guys before you head over to Matt's lobby and kind of leave me and say, get out of here, Josh. Stop talking. You're annoying me. D. Sarley, Sean World, Miss Boss, Mello, everyone, again, thank you all. Fly on the Wall, Love Chip, Mello, G. Calante, Vegeta, Renard, seriously, MJS, all you guys for coming over today. Amazing fun time with you guys. Don't forget, tomorrow I am live streaming in the morning. I'll have my lobby up about 15 minutes. Well, I'll have the lobby up about probably 30 minutes or so before the opening bell, somewhere around there. 45 minutes for the opening bell, and then of course go live that 10 to 15 minutes for the opening bell, team. So I'll have alerts ready to rock and roll. Try to get some trades in tomorrow, and maybe my first trades of the week because I have not traded this week at all either. All right, Sean, run on the banks. Nice to see you too, baby boy. Run, everyone else. Peace, Mello. Have a good rest of your day, Lost Boys and Lost Girls. I do have back-to-back sessions coming up here in about 45 minutes, power hour and after hours. So I'll be around. So if you do need anything, just hit me up. Miss Boss, I'll reply in a minute. But I will be around the rest of the day. If you do anything, hit your boy up over here, AK. Otherwise, tomorrow it's time for a little Freaky Friday takeover. Time to get a little low rider in tomorrow. Until then, Lost Boys and Lost Girls. Hey, Renard, I didn't know if you did see, though. They are doing that 90s show, so I follow Wilmer Valderrama on Facebook and on Instagram. It was so funny at Facebook, the old school, and they're like, oh, you like 90, Josh? But one of his last posts was a picture. It says that 90s show. Top right-hand corner says Fez. It says Wilmer, and then in parentheses Fez. And then I forgot big and whatever he says, but then it said, and then ... Let's see if I remember how to do this accent. So it looks like, yep. So, yep, Renard, they are doing that 90s show. That was in talks for a long time. So, I'm kind of excited about it myself. So, that 90s show looks like it is a green light to go. So, that's going to be pretty cool. I mean, you got Ashton still involved, so him out in Hollywood and all the things that he does and connections, I could see that, being a thing that they do. And there's not a lot on TV anymore. So, a lot of stuff we've been doing recently, regenerate. Top Gun, so Lost Boys, Lost Girls, let's get it. Until tomorrow, we'll see you then. I'll be around if you need me. Otherwise, see you for Freaky Friday Takeover. In 3, 2, 1, bang-a-ring! See you all back here tomorrow, team.
Pero toma 5,000, gástalo en Sephora. Louis Vuitton ya no compra en Pandora. Como piercing a los hombres perfora. Hace tiempo le rompieron el cora. Estudiosa, puesta para ser doctora. Pero le gustan los títeres huirleando motora. Yo estoy pa' ti las 24 horas.
Baby, a ti no me pongo y siempre te lo pongo. Y si tú me tiras, vamos a nadar en lo hondo. Si por mí te lo pongo, de septiembre hasta agosto.
Y a mis 5, en lo que digan tu amiga, ya yo me enteré. Se nota cuando me ves, ahí donde no has llegado, sabes que yo te llevaré. Y dime qué quieres beber, es que tú eres mi bebé. Y de nosotros, ¿quién va a hablar? Si no nos dejamos ver.
Yo soy Dolce, de pulgar, y cuando te lo quito, después de los paris, las copas de vino, las libras de Mari. Tú estás bien suelta, yo de safari. Tú me ves fenomenal, pa' yo devorarte como animal. Si no te has venido, yo te voy a esperar. En mi camino voy a celebrar.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me. Got a mic, he's got the rap patrol on the Gap Patrol. Foes that wanna make sure his casket's closed. Rap critics who say his money cash holes. He's from the hood, stupid. What type of facts are those? If you grew up at hoes and your zap for toes, you'd be celebrating the minute you was having dough. So fuck critics, you can kiss our whole asshole. You don't like the lyrics, you can press fast forward. Listen to radio, if we don't play their show, they don't play our hits, we don't give a shit. So all these bags trying to use our ass, so advertisers can give them more cash for ads. Fuckers, I don't know what you take us as, or understand the intelligence that Jay-Z has. From rags to riches, we ain't done. We got 99 problems that a bitch ain't one. 99 problems that a bitch ain't one. If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems that a bitch ain't one. Year's 94 and my trunk is wrong. In the rear view mirror is the motherfucking law. Got two choices, y'all. Pull over the car or bounce on the double, put the pedal to the floor. And I ain't tryna see how we chase we take. Plus I got a few dollars, I can fight the case. So I pull over to the side of the road. I heard,
son, do you know what I'm stopping you for?
Cause I'm young and I'm black and my hat's real low. Do I look like a mind reading, sir? I don't know. Am I under arrest or shit? I guess some more.
Well, you was doing 55 and a 54. License and registration and step out of the car. You carrying a weapon on you, know a lot of you are.
I ain't stepping out of shit on my paper legit.
Well, do you mind if I look around the car a little bit?
Well, my glove compartment is locked, so it's a trunk in the back. And I know my rights, so you gon' need a warrant for that.
Aren't you sharp as a tack? You some type of law or somebody important or something?
I ain't past the ball, but I know a little bit enough that you wanna legally search my shit.
Well, we'll see how smart you are when the canines come.
I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If you have a girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me. a bitch ain't one. Hit me. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. And once upon a time, not too long ago, a nigga like myself had to strong arm a hoe. This is not a hoe, this is a habit of pussy. But a pussy have a goddamn sense to try and push me. I try to ignore him, talk to the Lord, pray for him. And some hoes just not to perform. You know the type, balance a motorbike, but wouldn't bust a break in a food fight. And the only thing that's gonna happen is I'ma get the clapping in. He and his boys gonna be yapping to the captain. And then I go trapped in the Kit Kat again. Back through the system with the riff raff again. Things on the floor,